Chapter 691. But Kai Xiaofei still didn't know the immensity of heaven and earth. He laughed wildly and said, "I'm good friends with Boss Yang from Emperor Entertainment and Boss Xiang Qiangxing from Huaxing. As long as you follow me, I guarantee that you will be able to do well in Hong Kong, Macau, and Taiwan. What do you think? What if I don't?" Li Huiyan asked. Kai Xiaofei's face darkened and said coldly, "That's simple. I promise you won't be able to get another movie in Hong Kong, Macau, and Taiwan. At least in these three places, I will shut you out completely." "Then shut me out," Li Huiyan said mockingly. "There are only a few cinemas and screens in Hong Kong. Even if you don't watch me, there are still many people watching me in China and abroad." Kai Xiaofei was stunned. His eyes were full of killing intent. He looked at Bai Qiufei and Zhang Huchen and said, "Is this also your idea?" No, how could this be my idea?" "Huiyan, you are too insensible." Hearing Bai Qiufei's words, Kai Xiaofei's eyes were full of disdain and he sneered arrogantly. "A bunch of Chinese bumpkins, what are you pretending for? In the end, you still have to bow your head and admit your mistake. You gave me a woman to sleep with." Bai Qiufei stared at Kai Xiaofei and suddenly said, "Kai Xiaofei, you got it wrong. The film industry in Hong Kong is declining. You want to enter the Chinese film industry, so the directors and actors are all moving north. If you continue to be so arrogant, I will shut you out." "Fuck you. How dare you talk to me like that?" Kai Xiaofei's temper exploded and he said angrily, "If you don't kneel down and apologize to me, don't even think about leaving Hong Kong alive." "Chinese bumpkins." Zhang Huchen was so angry that his hands trembled. He turned around and asked Zhang Yilin, "If I hit him in this situation, will God Jiang blame me for punishing me?" "Go ahead. If you hit him, it will be on my head." "You are such a bully." Zhang Yilin was also angry. "You said it. Remember it. Don't turn around and refuse to help Jiang Tian when he's messing with me." Zhang Huchen repeated worriedly. "Okay." Zhang Yilin nodded. Zhang Huchen grinned maliciously as he approached Kai Xiaofei and said coldly, "I don't care if you call me a Chinese bumpkin or not." "What did you say?" Seeing Zhang Huchen approaching, Kai Xiaofei subconsciously stood up and asked. "Young Master Zhang, calm down." The two middle-aged men sensed a sense of crisis and hurriedly stepped forward to stop and persuade him. Zhang Huchen shook off the two middle-aged men and picked up a red wine bottle. Without saying a word, he smashed it on Kai Xiaofei's head. Kai Xiaofei was slapped to the ground, and he cried out in pain. His face was filled with fear and astonishment. He probably didn't expect a mainland tycoon to be so valiant. The two middle-aged men who wanted to stop Zhang Huchen were knocked to the ground with a kick and a punch. Zhang Huchen grabbed onto Kai Xiaofei's neck and fiercely asked, "Fuck your mother. Speak. Who was going to apologize? Who knelt? Who's the country bumpkin?" "I apologize, I kneel, I'm a country bumpkin." Kai Xiaofei's face turned purple. He felt like he was going to suffocate and die in the next moment. He screamed at the top of his lungs, "Fuck you." Only then did Zhang Huchen get up and kick Kai Xiaofei in the stomach. He scolded resentfully. He angrily said, "Prepare the contract and sell it to me at 20% of the original price. Otherwise, I'll kill you." After Bai Qiufei and Zhang Huchen left, Kai Xiaofei stood up, bent over and coughed violently for a while before he recovered and shouted, "They dare to hit me, damn it, I'll kill them." "Young Master Kai, this mainland young Master Zhang is not simple. He is a top existence in Yanjing. His grandfather Zhang Jinghua was a member of the Central Advisory Committee." "Crown Prince." A person who accompanied Kai Xiaofei kindly reminded him, but Kai Xiaofei impatiently interrupted him and waved his hand domineeringly. "Yanjing, a city full of bicycles, there are also hidden dragons and crouching tigers, Central Advisory Committee." "What the hell is that?" "Bullshit, Crown Prince. It's okay to scare ordinary people, but every time my uncle He Hongchen went to Yanjing, when wasn't he personally received by the chief? The two mature elite businessmen helplessly looked at each other and shook their heads with a bitter smile. The reason why the Kai family of Macau used the merger of ATV to drive Kai Xiaofei to Hong Kong was because they didn't want to see him. However, the two generals, Heng and Ha, had to suffer. They didn't have enough to wipe his ass. They could only silently pray that today's unpleasant events would pass quickly and that Kai Xiaofei wouldn't take it to heart. Bai Choufei, Zhang Huchen, and Zhang Yilin walked out of the door and went to the parking lot. Li Huiyan smiled sweetly and said, "Mr. Bai, young Master Zhang, thank you for just now." "Don't thank me." Bai Choufei turned his head and said with a smile, "You are young Master Zhang's old classmate. He asked me to take care of you. If something happens to you, how can I explain it to young Master Zhang?" In fact, he was also very grateful to Jiang Tian. Now Li Huiyan was popular all over Huaxia and East Asia, becoming the most important cash cow of Tiange Entertainment. It wasn't as simple as Li Huiyan having Jiang Tian as her backer and the company being willing to support her. The entertainment circle had the largest number and highest quality of beautiful women. There were many beautiful women who had backgrounds and backers or relied on their thick skin to drag big directors and investors into the water. But why were there so few of them who were popular? In fact, they needed talent. Li Huiyan undoubtedly also had this talent. How could a golden unicorn be a fish in a pond and turn into a dragon in a storm? Jiang Tian just gave her an opportunity and a platform. Zhang Huchen said with a bitter face, "In any case, don't tell God Jiang that I hit people. I regret it now." Li Huiyan nodded, and a strange and familiar handsome face appeared in her mind. For a moment, her heart throbbed inexplicably. At this time, Bai Choufei's cell phone rang. It was Sasaki Haisha. Jiang Tian was about to arrive at Hong Kong International Airport and asked him to meet him at once. "Let's go. God Jiang is here." Bai Choufei's eyes were excited. Bai Choufei didn't dare to put on airs in front of Li Huiyan at all. He very gentlemanly asked the three girls to sit in the Buick van. Then he got on a Rolls-Royce Phantom with Zhang Huchen and Zhang Yilin. The two cars, one in front and one behind, drove to Hong Kong International Airport together. This Buick van was mediocre on the outside but luxurious on the inside. Behind the driver's seat, the space was spacious and two rows of airline seats faced each other. Tang Yuyu, the youngest girl who seemed to be pure, sat side by side with Li Huiyan. Zhao Qinzi, a mature and charming woman who had played in several major heroines in a row, sat opposite them. "First sister, who is the young Master Jiang that the boss mentioned?" the little girl Tang Yuyu asked curiously. Zhao Qinzi, who was sitting opposite, had just opened a magazine. Hearing the words, she raised her eyebrows quickly and smiled sweetly. "Yes, Huiyan, tell us. The company said that you have a strong backer. The three of us are not outsiders. You can reveal some information to satisfy our curiosity." What kind of backer stood behind Li Huiyan was the most taboo topic in Tiange Entertainment. The two female stars were very curious about what kind of surging power made Li Huiyan, who was unknown a few years ago, rise at the speed of a rocket in just 2 or 3 years and be promoted to a first-tier star in Asia. Moreover, not long ago, she also received a big production contract from Hollywood to play opposite Tom Cruise and other international superstars. Which of the big and small celebrities in the country didn't have a backer or background? There was a popular saying in the film and television circle that behind a female star, there were often 3 or 4 successful fathers or godfathers. But whose backer could be so powerful and terrifying? I'm afraid Li Huiyan was the only one in the country. Li Huiyan smiled. Thinking of the past, the smile gradually became bitter. Finally, she sighed and said quietly, "How can I be qualified to let him be my backer? To be honest, I don't even have the right to talk to him. I haven't seen him for a long time. Our boss values him and needs to rely on him. He thinks that helping me can make him happy, but maybe in his eyes, I'm no different from the beggars on the roadside." Li Huiyan finished and looked out of the window. Her eyes were drifting, not like looking at the street scene at all. There was probably some regret in her heart. First sister, don't be so deep. Tang Yuyu said with curiosity and expectation, just tell us who young Master Jiang is and what's his background. Our boss flatters him, so he must be better than our boss, right? He is my high school alumnus, and now he has gone abroad to develop. Li Huiyan said vaguely. Jiang Tian's ident. 1. Tai is too complicated. She can't figure it out herself, so she can only say it euphemistically. Tang Yuyu is more and more at a loss, but Zhao Qinzi makes a lot of inferences from the short information and asks suspiciously, is Jiang Shao? Jiang Shao of the Medicine King Group. Li Huiyan nodded. Zhao Qinzi blinked her big eyes with beautiful contact lenses, slapped Li Huiyan's silk stockings legs hard enough to seduce men to commit crimes, and said with resentment, Huiyan, it's not that my sister says you, but you're stupid. With this relationship, why don't you grasp it in your hand? He's married. And he has a good relationship with his wife. How can I pry it? Besides, I'm afraid that if I show that kind of idea, I won't even be able to keep the most basic classmate friendship. Li Huiyan didn't laugh at her senior sister's superficial utility. Instead, she had a sense of bleakness and melancholy. Introduce it to us. You just can't do it. If you don't want to pry, I'll do it. In modern society, how can there be a cat that doesn't eat fish? Li Huiyan's senior and junior sisters were very excited. Li Huiyan's face was stunned and speechless. This is the bizarre Vanity Fair. In the entertainment circle, no one will let go of the slightest chance. Chapter 692. When they got off the plane, the sun was shining brightly in Hong Kong. Cheng Yi looked out of the window and sneered, this place is too small, isn't it? Why do you care so much about their ID cards? Of course I do. Tan Guangxiu explained, some of the provinces and cities in China still give Hong Kong citizens preferential treatment, such as tax, land use, etc. That's right. Zhen Shuai said smugly, my company is going to expand across the country. We have to be prepared. That's because they are spoiled. What preferential treatment? Money is still money. Cheng Yi didn't think much of it. Jiang Tian walked through the VIP lane and was surrounded by a large entourage. In Hong Kong, Chen Zhenming, Jiang Lin, Bai Choufei, and Jiang Chao drove a Rolls-Royce Phantom, a silver Bentley, and a Lincoln limousine to pick them up. Chen Zhenming, your legs are weak. Sister Jiang Lin, that's a bit too much. Zhen Shuai, look at how fat you are now. Congratulations, you adulterous couple. You finally succeeded. The group of people immediately bumped into each other. Since childhood friends met, there was no sense of distance between them, so it was inevitable for them to chat and laugh. Jiang Tian, I have something urgent to report to you. Suddenly, Jiang Lin's eyes flashed with a hint of melancholy. Let's talk in the car. Jiang Tian walked toward the Lincoln limousine. Bai Choufei hurried forward and opened the car door for Jiang Tian. After Jiang Tian, Jiang Lin, Jiang Chao, and Chen Zhenming got into the car, he closed the door from the outside. What is it? Jiang Tian asked. Jiang Tian, the promotion of the Village of Immortals in Hong Kong has run into some trouble. Jiang Lin said with a wry smile. You can't accept it. Jiang Tian shook his head. In fact, he didn't really care about it. 80% of the houses had already been rented out. If Hong Kong couldn't accept it, there were other markets. No, the promotion of the Village of Immortals is going well. It is very popular among the tycoons in Hong Kong. Many tycoons have shown great interest in the village and have sold over 100 houses. But someone is trying to defame the Medicine King Group and the Village of Immortals. Jiang Lin explained. In Hong Kong, Asia TV, First Media and more than a dozen other media outlets have been smearing Yaowang Group's reputation ever since the Xing Yuan Immortal Treatment Village was introduced to the market. They reported that the reason why the Medicine King Group was delisted was due to poor management and insolvency. They also said that the Jiang family had offended the bigwigs in the capital and that the business environment in the mainland had deteriorated. As for the Village of Immortals, it's been banned by the Hong Kong media. We can't even advertise. There are also people lobbying the upper class, saying that our promotion is fake, that the healing village is ineffective, and that Sidoni's real estate and economy are fake prosperity, and that it will collapse sooner or later. This should be premeditated by an organization, right? Jiang Tian smiled. Jiang Tian, you're right. Chen Jinming took out 2 bottles of Evian mineral water from the wine cabinet in the car. He unscrewed one bottle and handed it to Jiang Tian. Jiang Lin and I have conducted a brief investigation. Our real opponent is the Shao Shikuan family, the second most powerful family in Hong Kong. I have heard of this family before. Jiang Tian smirked. Among the 4 most powerful families in Hong Kong, the Shao Shikuan family was second only to Superman Li's family. In terms of real estate, they were even more powerful than Superman Li's family. On the surface, the Shao Shikuan family's assets had reached 90 billion Hong Kong dollars. However, he still had a lot of unlisted assets, which was estimated to be around 200 billion Hong Kong dollars. Shao Shikuan was very talented and was known as the god of business in Hong Kong. He started off as a sugar water vendor on Temple Street and built a super business empire. Under his name were Wanguo Real Estate, Jin Long Jewelry, Xing Long Hotel Group, E-Media Group, Apple Daily and many others. Other than that, he was once awarded the Bauhinia knighthood by the British royal family. He was also a prominent figure in the international upper class. In the eyes of the average person, Shao Shikuan was like a god. Now, Jiang Tian was known as the Jiang Laigua. He was so powerful that he could wipe out an entire country. Those that he interacted with were the European Union's president, Yung, Japan's prime minister, Singapore's prime minister, Marshall, and many others. Shao Shikuan was just a small fry that he could kill easily. Why would he care about him? But it's strange. Why is the Shao family against us? Jiang Tian asked with a frown. Isn't it because of competition? Jiang Lin said. Shao Shikuan's family is very radical. Even during the global financial crisis in 2009, they still bought lots of land and developed a lot of high-end mansions. They bought lots of land and high-end old mansions in Taiping Mountain, Repulse Bay, Shinshui Bay, and many other places. There are many overseas as well. Chen Jinming added. For example, Bali, Jeju Island, Hawaii, and San Francisco. They have a lot of high-end mansions. Jiang Tian nodded slightly. They predicted that after 2 to 3 years, the impact of the financial crisis would subside and the economy would recover. The price of high-end mansions would definitely skyrocket. Jiang Lin said with disdain. In fact, they guessed correctly. At the end of 2010, the price of high-end mansions started to increase. However, they didn't expect the immortal healing village to appear out of nowhere. The Shao family's mansions should be priced between tens of millions to 100 million, which coincides with our Xingyuan immortal healing village. That's why they're competing with each other. But they're no match for us. None of the projects in South Korea and the US were sold. We snatched them all. Now, they have a lot of debt, and their cash flow is about to collapse. If they can't hold on to the Hong Kong market, they'll be finished. So, they're desperate and started to slander us in the media. Jiang Tian laughed. That's right. Chen Jinming nodded. Jiang Chao, who had been listening quietly, raised his eyebrows and said fiercely, "This old bastard dares to slander us. This old fellow dares to splash dirty water on us. I think he must be tired of living. How about I call a few people to kill him?" He was the person in charge of the Immortal Healing Village's Hong Kong market. Now, the market was not expanding, and he had played a good hand. He was furious. Can you stop stirring up trouble in Hong Kong? Jiang Tian rolled his eyes at him and said. Hong Kong is Huaxia's special region. It's not easy for Hong Kong to achieve peace and unity. Huaxia has been helping Sidonia a lot. Let's not create trouble for the country. The Immortal Healing Village is not worried about the sales. Why does he have to target us? Let him slander us if he wants. Smart people don't believe in rumors. Brother Tian, that's it. There was no need to mention how disappointed Jiang Chao was. He had posted a message on his WeChat Moments. He had said that Xiao Shikuan's family would be terrified when his brother arrived. He did not expect Jiang Tian to ignore them. Alright, Jiang Chao. Since Jiang Tian said so, don't bother him anymore. Chen Jinming said with a smile. Yes, brother-in-law. Jiang Chao nodded. Oh yes, Jiang Lin. My dad can't come in person, but he asked me to bring you a wedding gift. Jiang Tian took out the calligraphy and said with a smile. Chen Jinming took the gift with both hands and placed it carefully on the table. He opened it slowly and said. Uncle Jiang is so busy, but he still cares about our wedding. This gift is precious. I have to take good care of it. He promised Jiang Tian, help me pass a message to the old man, Uncle Jiang, and Auntie Jiang that I will treat Jiang Lin well. I will not let her down for the rest of my life. He knew that Jiang Tian was the family lord of the Jiang family. Showing his loyalty to Jiang Tian was the same as showing his loyalty to the Jiang family. He knew better than anyone that marrying Jiang Lin was a blessing that he had accumulated over several lifetimes. His personal wealth was nothing compared to that of the Jiang family, and he was not even close to Jiang Lin's. Hearing this, Jiang Lin blushed and said, Look at your silly face. You've already said what you wanted to say at the wedding. Jiang Tian was touched. He laughed heartily and said, That's right. Jinming, we grew up together. Don't you think I know what kind of person you are? I believe that Jiang Lin will have a happy family with you. Suddenly, Jiang Tian's cell phone rang. It was Wu Zhirua from the Wu family. Wu Zhirua said that she had arrived at the airport and was waiting for Jiang Tian at Starbucks. Jiang Tian said that he would be there soon. He hung up the phone and smiled at Chen Jinming and the others. Thank you for coming to pick me up, but I have other plans. You can go back to the hotel first. Just focus on the wedding. Don't worry about the house. It's just a few billion. We don't need that much money anyway. As he spoke, he got out of the car and walked towards Starbucks alone. Why did young Master Jiang leave? Li Huiyan's face was full of resentment and regret. She had finally met Jiang Tian, but before she could say hello, Jiang Tian had already left. In the airport Starbucks. The two girls were quite eye-catching. In the crowded cafe, they were like cranes in a flock of chickens. The slightly older one wore a well-tailored, silver-gray office dress. Her long, slender legs were wrapped in silky stockings, and she wore the latest black Gucci high heels. She had a delicate oval face and fair skin. A pair of black-rimmed glasses rested on the bridge of her nose. Her shoulder-length hair was dyed into fashionable wavy curls. She was tall and had a cool temperament. She was dressed like a mature woman in the workplace. The other girl was wearing limited edition canvas shoes. Her pink legs were exposed under her hot pants. She looked cute with a big-mouthed monkey sweater. Sister Zhirua, why is this Chinese idiot so arrogant? The cute girl sipped her juice and shook her head. It's a few hours later than the scheduled time. You and young Master Guo's negotiation was delayed. My grandpa's friend's grandson. Wu Zhirua folded a copy of Apple Daily and threw it aside. Her face was full of disdain. In the newspaper, there was a full-page report in the financial section. The title with 3 exclamation marks was shocking to the eye. The Fallen Medical Empire, Medicine King Group. Wu Zhirua took a sip of her cappuccino. She sighed and shook her head helplessly. Actually, we haven't seen each other for so many years. I don't know why my dad still wants me to meet this poor guy. Chapter 693. In her opinion, Jiang Tian had nothing to do with her. She didn't understand why her father wanted her to pick him up. Not only did he make her wait for 3 hours, but he also delayed a big deal. More importantly, her father had been talking about her blind date with Jiang Tian recently. He sounded regretful, as if she had missed a good match. From what her father said, it was not a bad idea to be Jiang Tian's mistress. But what was the Jiang family doing now? Professional financial media said that the Medicine King Group had been delisted due to poor management. It was said that they were secretly in debt. Wu Zhirua, who was always urged by her father to get married, was very unhappy. Her resistance to Jiang Tian soared, and she was full of disgust. The sales contract that Xiao Yunhao gave you may have made tens of millions of profit. Sun Jiaro said angrily. It doesn't matter if he is late, but we lost 20 or 30 million for nothing. It's so annoying. She ground her silver teeth, and her face was full of anger. When he comes, I will scold him. Sister Zhirua. At this time, Jiang Tian also came in and greeted her with a smile. Jiang Tian. You are here. Wu Zhirua was a little surprised when she saw Jiang Tian. His appearance was very delicate, and he was much more handsome and steady than before. However, Jiang Tian's outfit was too strange. He was wearing a buttoned long coat, bloomers, and old cloth shoes. He looked like an old man. What she didn't know was that Jiang Tian's clothes were custom-made by Ruifuxiang, the top silk brand in Huaxia. This brand served the royal family in the Qing dynasty. Jiang Tian's clothes were worth at least 7 or 800,000, which was far more expensive than the luxury goods in Paris Fashion Week. I heard that Jiang Tian's father is now a city hall official. However, the Medicine King Group was suddenly delisted. According to the media, it was not doing well. Wu Zhirua shook her head. He looks so lethargic. Not to mention Xiao Yunhao, Li Zhikai, and the other top young masters, he's a far cry from Luo Ziho. The Luo family was the owner of Glory Hotel in Hong Kong. Luo Ziho had already taken over the hotel and was in charge of 5 to 600 million yuan. Although he was only a third or fourth tier young master, he was in the hotel industry and had a lot of connections. He could talk to people like Li Zhikai and Xiao Yunhao. He was one of the most influential young men in Hong Kong. His family background, appearance, and ability were all top-notch. He was also one of Wu Zhirua's admirers. Wu Zhirua also had a good impression of him. In the eyes of the outside world, they were almost a couple. Sister Zhirua, the person you're waiting for is him. I haven't seen you for a few years, but you haven't improved at all. Sun Jiaro looked at Jiang Tian with disdain. When Jiang Tian and Wu Zhirua were on a blind date, as Wu Zhirua's best friend, Sun Jiaro had seen Jiang Tian. At that time, Jiang Tian was timid and silly. He had never even seen Disneyland. He was so stupid that he seemed to have come from the mountains. Sun Jiaro had thought that Wu Zhirua was willing to sacrifice a contract worth tens of millions because she was waiting for some big shot. Who would have thought that it was actually Jiang Tian? This was too much of a scam. Sister Zhirua, I heard that Uncle Wu is seriously ill. My dad asked me to come and take a look. Let's go. Jiang Tian ignored Sun Jiaro. He looked at Wu Zhirua and said with a faint smile. When Jiang Tian first saw Wu Zhirua, he was stunned. At that time, there was still a big gap between the economic development of China and Hong Kong. Jiang Tian came from a small place like Qixie County. When he saw a beautiful and fashionable girl born in a big city like Hong Kong, coupled with Wu Buxiong's enthusiastic matchmaking, of course, he was attracted to her. However, in Jiang Tian's eyes, Wu Zhirua had lost her charm. Not to mention Qing'er, even his disciples, Shen Mange, Li Jinju, and Sasaki Haisha, were a far cry from her. How could Jiang Tian's heart waver in the slightest? In the past, Jiang Tian begged and fawned over her in every possible way. Now, his eyes were clear and he was neither servile nor overbearing. Wu Zhirua was secretly surprised. It's a pity that your family background and ability are too poor. You're not even qualified to be my ordinary friend. Wu Zhirua sighed in her heart. She had already stood up and smiled politely. All right, I hope you can cure my father's illness. Although she said so, her heart was full of contempt. Her father's illness had been treated by the best doctors in Hong Kong and even the world, but they were all helpless. He was an ignorant and incompetent person. What could he do? At this time, Sun Jiaro said with dissatisfaction. Mr. Jiang, your economy in China is so backward. The people's concept of time is too poor. Do you know how much damage you've caused us by making us wait here for 3 hours? You really are too much. You only told us that you'll be here in the morning but didn't tell us the exact time. We've been waiting here since early morning. Do you know that Sister Zhirua originally had a big contract to discuss with young Master Xiao? Now it's gone. I'm sorry. Jiang Tian said apologetically. I chartered a plane here. I can take off at any time. The few friends who came with me were very unorganized. They didn't plan well. The departure and arrival times were uncertain, so I didn't give you a specific time. It's my fault. It was indeed inappropriate to make the two girls wait for so long. Jiang Tian also apologized politely. Chartered a plane. Sun Jiaro was slightly stunned. Then she laughed mockingly. I heard that your Medicine King group was delisted because of poor management. Your family's assets are probably only a few million now. You might even be in debt. She said sarcastically, you can charter a plane. You're too good at bragging. Why don't you say that you have a private plane? Jiang Tian touched his nose helplessly. He did have 2 private planes, a Gulfstream G550 and a Boeing 737. But Jiang Tian felt that there was no need to say it out loud. After all, he came here to repay a debt of gratitude and to treat Wu Buxiong's illness. He didn't come here to be angry. Besides, they might not believe him even if he said it out loud. They might think that he was deliberately trying to make them angry. Seeing that Jiang Tian didn't speak, Sun Jiaro thought that she had tactfully exposed Jiang Tian's true colors. Her expression became more arrogant and disdainful. She snorted. Don't brag. You're a country bumpkin here. You probably haven't even drunk Starbucks before. Xiao Rou. Wu Zhirua called. She probably felt that her best friend's words were too much, but she didn't stop her. Jiang Tian came here inexplicably. Maybe he still couldn't forget his old feelings for her and coveted her. Although Sun Jiaro was being rude, at least she let him understand her status and make him give up on her. While talking, the 3 of them walked out of Starbucks and came to the airport parking lot. Wu Zhirua's car was a red imported Mercedes-Benz. The 3 of them got into the car and drove to Hong Kong Baptist Hospital. Sister Zhirua, Mr. Xiao asked you to manage a high-end villa project, right? Sun Jiaro asked curiously. That's right. Wu Zhirua nodded. Mr. Xiao asked for you. He has good taste. Sun Jiaro said with admiration. Sister Zhirua's real estate marketing company should be the best in Hong Kong. Previously, you worked with Superman Lee's real estate company. But Xiao Yinhao's conditions are a little harsh. Wu Zhirua frowned and said worriedly. All the marketing activities will be funded by the Wu family. The Xiao family won't pay a single cent. After all the units are sold, they will pay us 5% of the net profit as marketing expenses. I've calculated that the marketing expenses on a global scale will be around 100 million. This will be very stressful for the Wu family. You can't catch a wolf without risking your child. Sun Jiaro said nonchalantly. This is the first time we're working together. Xiao Yinhao might not be that confident in you. At this time, the 2 women began to discuss some business matters, basically treating Jiang Tian as heir. He knew the names of the rich and powerful in Hong Kong like the back of his hand. At this time, Jiang Tian suddenly asked, Sister Zhirua, are you going to manage Xiao Shikuan's high-end properties? That's right. Before Wu Zhirua could say anything, Sun Jiaro said proudly. Sister Zhirua is very capable. She can talk to Xiao Shikuan's beloved son, Xiao Yinhao. Kid, you should learn from her. Jiang Tian said calmly, Sister Zhirua, don't work with the Xiao family. You will lose out. I'm afraid that their villas will not sell well. What do you know? You're just boasting shamelessly. Sun Jiaro was annoyed and scolded disdainfully. The Xiao family is one of the 4 major real estate families in Hong Kong. Their assets are tens of billions, maybe even hundreds of billions. The projects they are working on have all been scientifically evaluated and calculated before they are developed. You're a bumpkin from the mainland. Can you understand? Oh, I understand now. Suddenly, Sun Jiaro said mockingly, Sister Zhirua, you still haven't changed your mind. You're definitely still harboring evil intentions towards Sister Zhirua. You're pretending to be amazing to show off and attract her attention. Unfortunately, it's too late. You're already married. Bah! What am I talking about? Even if you're not married, why would Sister Zhirua like a poor mainland guy like you? Jiang Tian hadn't even said a word. Sun Jiaro's mouth was like a machine gun, shooting at Jiang Tian. Jiang Tian was speechless. Don't worry, I'm just here to treat Uncle Wu. I don't have any other thoughts. Jiang Tian glanced at Wu Zhirua who was driving. Ruru didn't mean that. Don't take it to heart. Wu Zhirua said calmly while driving. Zhirua, don't you know who the Xiao family's opponent is? Jiang Tian smiled faintly and did not care. Wu Zhirua frowned but did not say anything. It was unusual for her to receive the Xiao family's business. The Xiao family also had a real estate marketing department. Why would they outsource their sales? She had also heard that the reason why the Xiao family had outsourced the marketing business was that they wanted to reduce the cost and make their sales difficult. TSK, they don't have an opponent. The Xiao family is invincible in the real estate industry. Sun Jiaro glanced at Jiang Tian with disdain. You idiot, you don't know how powerful Hong Kong's real estate industry is. Chapter 694. These 2 women did not know about Xing Yuan Immortal Healing Village at all. Jiang Tian was surprised to see this. It seemed that the Xiao family's public relations skills were quite good. They actually blocked the news from Hong Kong's media. Perhaps the Medicine King Group and Xing Yuan Immortal Healing Village were only known by the upper class in Hong Kong. However, Jiang Tian did not say anything. With the sharp-tongued Sun Jiaro present, he would be criticized no matter what he said, right? Seeing that Jiang Tian did not say anything, Wu Zhirua and Sun Jiaro despised Jiang Tian even more. Sure enough, he was just trying to attract Wu Zhirua's attention. However, he really did not know the immensity of heaven and earth. At this time, they passed by a group of high-end villas in Nightwave Bay. Sun Jiaro pointed and said, Look, 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 these are the high-end villas developed by the Xiao family. She sighed with longing. I heard that the best villas are priced at 7 to 800 million HKD. It'll be great if I can live there. Jiang Tian also looked over. Seeing this, Sun Jiaro said disdainfully, Jiang Tian, there's no such good villas in China, right? What do you think? You must be shocked. Not bad. Jiang Tian nodded helplessly. These villas only had a beautiful view of the bay. In fact, they were small and stingy. Not to mention the immortal palaces and shrines that Jiang Tian had seen in his previous life, compared to Xing Yuan Immortal Healing Village, they were like thatched cottages. Jiang Tian was already being polite to avoid the 2 women's quarrel. If he were to give a real evaluation, he would definitely say that it was trash, a dog house, and a rundown house. However, when she heard Jiang Tian's nonchalant words, Wu Zhirua was so angry that she rolled her eyes. This was one of the best villas in Hong Kong. Compared to the villas in Mid-Mountain, Deep Water Bay, and Repulse Bay. Those who lived here were all celebrities and tycoons. Where in China could you find such villas? Jiang Tian, have you seen a better villa than this? Sun Jiaro had nothing else to say. Poor people in China were really exaggerating. In order to show off his extraordinary knowledge, he deliberately suppressed others to elevate himself. What do you mean I've seen it before? I have more than 1,000 villas that are 10 times or 100 times better than this. Jiang Tian was flirting with Qing'er on the phone and blurted out subconsciously. But as soon as he said that, he regretted it. Haha, if you have 1,000 villas like this, wouldn't your assets be hundreds of billions? Sure enough, Sun Jiaro laughed so hard that tears came out of her eyes. Bro, that's not how you pick up girls. Do you think it's enough to just brag? You don't stand a chance. Since he had already spoken, Jiang Tian decided to go one step further and said calmly, Sister Zhirua, if you want to make money, I have a profitable real estate marketing project for you. 1 billion Hong Kong dollars profit is not a problem. He had no intention of pleasing Wu Zhirua at all. On one hand, the Wu family's real estate company was quite influential in Hong Kong. Jiang Lin used to be in the pharmaceutical industry. She and Jiang Chao's sales team were completely unprofessional. It was better to leave it to the Wu clan. On the other hand, when the Medicine King group was still in its early stages, the Wu clan had indeed helped the Jiang family. Jiang Tian also wanted to return the favor. But in Wu Zhirua's eyes, it was simply a big joke. Jiang Tian still hadn't made any progress. In fact, he was even more disgusting than before. Bragging without restraint and bragging. She suppressed the disgust in her heart and said calmly, Jiang Tian, thank you for your kindness. But forget it, my company is too small. I'm afraid I can't take on such a huge project. Jiang Tian also saw Wu Zhirua's contempt, but he didn't want to argue with her. As a celestial lord, his magnanimity didn't allow him to argue with such a small fry. Soon, they arrived at the Hong Kong Baptist Hospital. The moment he got out of the car, Jiang Tian scanned the hospital with his divine sense and a touch of seriousness appeared on his face. Then, he calmed down and walked inside unhurriedly. He came to a VIP ward. He saw a middle-aged man lying on the bed with needles all over his body. He looked like he was on the verge of death. Next to him stood a man in a white coat and gold-rimmed glasses. The other was a middle-aged man in an apricot Taoist robe, carrying a peachwood sword and holding a compass. He looked like a Jianghu person. President Li, Mr. Zhou, sorry to disturb you. Seeing this, Wu Zhirua hurriedly apologized. Master Zhou glanced at Zhou Zhirua and said proudly, hurry up and leave. I'm about to perform the ritual. Please forgive us, Mr. Zhou. We'll leave. Wu Zhirua was so scared that she shivered. She gave Jiang Tian a look and walked out. Master Zhou was a famous feng shui xian shu master in Hong Kong, and it took a lot of effort to invite him to come here. But at this time, Wu Buxiong, who was lying on the bed, raised his hand with all his strength and shouted in a hoarse voice, Jiang Tian, come here. Jiang Tian slowly walked over to the bed and called out, Uncle Wu, my father asked me to come and see you. Good. Good. Now that I can see you, I'm feeling much better. Wu Buxiong was very thin, but his face was full of affection. He smiled happily and said, you're getting more and more handsome. You're just like your father when he was young. You're a talent. Hearing this, Wu Zhirua's heart thumped and she rolled her eyes in anger. How was he a talent? Dad wouldn't want me to be his mistress again, would he? At that time, I thought you were sick and confused. Now, it seems that you really have such intentions. Uncle Wu, you flatter me. Jiang Tian came here to treat the illness. He didn't talk nonsense. He glanced at Master Zhou and the president and said, how are you going to treat Uncle Wu? How I treat him, do I need to report to you? Do I need your opinion? Master Zhou was suddenly very angry. In Hong Kong, he was famous. Usually, the people he interacted with were all rich and famous people. Why would he need to talk nonsense with such an unknown brat? You can't cure him. Get out. Jiang Tian directly waved his hand and gave the order for them to leave. He was polite to Wu Zhirua and tolerated her because of Wu Buxiong's face. But for Master Zhou, there was no need. What? You, who are you? How dare you talk to me like that? Do you know who I am? Master Zhou couldn't believe it. He was so angry that his face turned green. Jiang Tian, don't be disrespectful to Master Zhou. Wu Zhirua was so scared that she almost jumped up. Master Zhou, Jiang was born in a family of Chinese medicine. He is also very powerful. Wu Buxiong explained for Jiang Tian. Master Zhou knew that Jiang Tian's clothes were worth at least hundreds of thousands of yuan. He was shocked. But immediately, he put his hands behind his back and said disdainfully, Mr. Wu's disease is not an ordinary disease. All the methods of Chinese medicine are useless. In this world, except for me, no one can cure it. Then tell me, what is Mr. Wu's disease? Jiang Tian asked with a smile. Gu worm. Master Zhou took out a talisman and said proudly, only my superior grade Gu summoning talisman can draw out the Gu worm and save Mr. Wu's life. You know about Gu worms. You are quite knowledgeable. Jiang Tian shook his head and said disdainfully, but unfortunately, the worm in Mr. Wu's body is not a Gu worm. You are mistaken. Master Zhou was so angry that his body trembled. He pointed at Jiang Tian and said, I am mistaken. How could I be mistaken? This is outrageous. This is outrageous. I never thought that I, Zhou Tianlai, would be able to dominate Hong Kong for 30 years. Superman Li and Xiao Shikuan have always treated me with respect. But today, they were humiliated by a young boy. Humph. Ignorant fool. I don't want to cure your disease. Find someone else to cure it. After he said that, he turned and left. Wu Zhirua was so scared that she almost burst into tears. She grabbed Master Zhou's sleeve and begged. Master Zhou, you are a magnanimous man. Why do you have to lower yourself to his level? I beg you, please don't go. If you have any conditions, just say it. The Wu family will agree to it even if we have to sell everything we have. Master Zhou was a well-known figure in Hong Kong. He was the personal disciple of Su Maozhai. Every time he came out of the mountain, he would be paid millions of yuan. In the past, the Wu family did not even have the right to talk to him. It was Luo Ziho who introduced him. If it were not for Luo Ziho, Master Zhou would not have come to treat Wu Buxiong. Because of this, Wu Zhirua and Sun Jiaro had always treated him like a god. Sun Jiaro pointed at Jiang Tian and shouted, Jiang Tian, are you crazy? You have been bragging in front of us. How dare you question Master Zhou? This is a matter of life and death. You will kill Uncle Wu. Apologize to Master Zhou now. Fine. Saving a life is better than building a 7-story pagoda. I can save him. But. At this time, Master Zhou pretended to sigh profoundly. Wu Zhirua and Sun Jiaro were overjoyed. The next moment, Master Zhou raised his hand and pointed at Jiang Tian. He said fiercely, I want this kid to kneel down and kowtow to me. Wu Zhirua hesitated for a moment. She looked at Jiang Tian reproachfully. But Sun Jiaro scolded, Jiang Tian, why don't you kneel down? Kowtowing to Master Zhou is not a disgrace to you. You are not a disgrace. You know, Master Zhou is one of the best in Hong Kong. Many people want to kowtow to him. You want me to kowtow to him? What's so funny about that? Jiang Tian smiled disdainfully. Even Su Maozhai in Hong Kong has to kowtow 3 times and kowtow 9 times when he sees me. Call me senior or teacher. His skills are rubbish. How can he be called a master? When did master become so cheap? Are you selling him by the pound? You are so rude. Ignorant fool. Grandmaster Su's skills are as profound as the heavens and the earth. He has unfathomable power. How dare you disrespect him like this? Master Zhou was so angry that he jumped 3 feet high. He gritted his teeth and wanted to tear Jiang Tian into pieces. Jiang Tian, you don't cause any more trouble, okay? I beg you. Get out. Get out of here now. Seeing this, Wu Zhirua was so angry that she felt dizzy. She was so anxious that she was about to burst into tears. You really don't know the immensity of heaven and earth. You have a death wish. Sun Jiarou's face was full of disdain. She pointed at Jiang Tian's nose and shouted. Master Su Maozhai is a godlike figure. He is Superman Li's guest of honor. He can drink and chat with chief executive. You should know that if your arrogant words spread, you will be torn to pieces by Master Su's followers. Chapter 695. Next to him, President Li felt that Jiang Tian was also a doctor and felt a sense of closeness. He smiled bitterly and said, Mr. Jiang, you may not know this since you are new to Hong Kong. Master Zhou's spells are very profound, especially when it comes to restraining goo worms. He is famous in the Feng Shui and Xian Shu circles in Hong Kong. I advise you not to humiliate yourself. Let's call off this bet. Jiang Tian shook his head and said, Don't worry, his spells are far worse than mine. He is not even qualified to be my disciple. You really don't know what's good for you. President Li was so angry that his face turned green. This kid was really boasting shamelessly and did not know the immensity of heaven and earth. Which spellcaster is not an immortal? You are just a kid, and you want to compete with Master Zhou in spellcasting? Fine. If you want to embarrass yourself, then I won't stop you. How arrogant. Too arrogant. Jiang, just you watch. I can draw out the goo worms in 3 minutes. Master Zhou was so angry that he gritted his teeth. He had to kill this kid who didn't know the immensity of heaven and earth. His face turned cold as he pulled out his peachwood sword. His entire temperament suddenly changed. He suddenly changed from a wretched middle-aged man to a peerless spellcaster who could control the power of heaven and earth. Goo, come out. He chanted a spell and stepped on the ground. After a series of spells, he inserted the yellow paper talisman on the tip of the sword and pointed it at Wu Buxiong's chest. Whoosh! The yellow paper talisman suddenly burst into flames. Seeing this, Wu Zhirua and Sun Jiarou's eyes were filled with admiration. They exclaimed, as expected of a master. Spontaneous combustion without fire. Is this magical power? How magical! President Li was also shocked. All these years, he had been studying goo worms, but he did not find anything. He thought to himself that he must learn from Master Zhou after this. Master Zhou finished his spell and chanted, but Wu Buxiong did not move at all. 3 minutes passed, 5 minutes passed, 15 minutes passed. Fine beads of sweat appeared on Master Zhou's face. He began to panic. This goo worm is very powerful. Let me do it again. He took out another talisman and cast another spell. Jiang Tian smiled faintly and said, Hee, continue. Come on, I'm going to the smoking room to smoke. Then he went out. When Jiang Tian came back, Master Zhou had already completed the second spell and continued to chant and dance. At this moment, even Wu Zhirua and Sun Jiarou were in disbelief. Didn't she say 3 minutes? It had been almost half an hour. Is it about time? Jiang Tian mocked, how about I go out for a smoke again and let you do it 3 or 4 more times? This goo worm is very evil, but if I can't lure it out, you can't either. Master Zhou's face was ashamed, and then he sneered sarcastically. Then let me try. Jiang Tian smiled faintly. Mr. Wu, you have to think this through. At this time, Master Zhou hurriedly stepped forward to stop him, this goo worm is very powerful. If he hastily uses it, you might die instantly. Jiang Tian, get out. What do you know about spells? Don't make trouble. If you do something to Uncle Wu, can you afford to be responsible? Wu Zhirua and Sun Jiaro also scolded. The Jiang family was indeed a family of Chinese medicine, but Jiang Tian was ignorant and incompetent. Besides, this goo worm was not something that could be solved by ordinary Chinese medicine. It belonged to the category of spells. Even if Jiang Tian was a medical master, he could not do it. Jiang Tian was too lazy to talk nonsense with this group of idiots. He looked at Wu Buxiong and said lightly, Uncle Wu, can I try? Jiang Tian, I believe in you, come on. Wu Buxiong had inexplicable confidence in Jiang Tian and nodded with a smile. Jiang Tian looked around, took out a medical jar, unscrewed the cap, and pressed it on Wu Buxiong's chest. Then, he wrote a few invisible talismans in the air and pressed them on Wu Buxiong's chest. Suddenly, sizzle sizzle sizzle. A black gas gathered at the chest and finally emerged from the glass jar. The black gas billowed, giving people a sense of evil. The black gas was very viscous, like black glue. It seemed to be alive, like an octopus, constantly colliding in the glass jar. What is this thing? It's disgusting. Seeing this, Wu Zhirua and Sun Jiaro's scalp tingled. Mr. Zhang's spells are so powerful. I didn't know your face. Sorry. Sorry for the disrespect. President Li was amazed and looked at Jiang Tian in a new light. He was in awe and respect and bowed respectfully. Even Master Zhou was shocked and broke out in a cold sweat. Oh my God, this is demonic energy. It's terrible. Demonic creatures were very rare. He did not expect to encounter one in his life. Demonic creatures were much scarier than evil spirits. Many spellcasters who could exorcise spirits and exorcise ghosts had died in the hands of demonic creatures. It can be said that fortunately, Jiang Tian took action to solve this demonic energy. If Master Zhou insisted on his own way and caused this demonic energy to backfire, he would be dead. Jiang Tian closed the lid and shook the wide-mouthed jar containing the demonic creatures in front of Master Zhou. He said coldly, "This is a goo worm. Have you seen such a goo worm?" At this time, Master Zhou had to admit that he was wrong. "Mr. Jiang, it's my mistake." But he didn't lose, coldly snorted and said, "But, you may not have cured Mr. Wu." At this time, Wu Buxiong, who had been bedridden for half a month, actually got out of bed and laughed loudly. "I'm fine. There's no need to check at all, I'm fine." At this time, Wu Zhirua and Sun Jiaro were shocked to see. Wu Buxiong's originally shriveled cheeks have swelled up, and the originally gray face has become rosy and translucent, full of vitality. Even a fool can see that Wu Buxiong must have been cured. It's incredible. The two women felt incredulous. Who knew that while Jiang Tian forced out the demonic energy, he also drew a few eternal creation talismans to nourish Wu Buxiong's body? Not necessarily. Not necessarily. You must check. However, Master Zhou did not give up and insisted that Wu Buxiong do a full body examination. After President Li checked, Wu Buxiong was indeed cured. The inexplicable shadow in his body disappeared. All indicators were normal and reached the standard of health. Jiang Tian, thank you. Without you, I'm afraid I can't keep my life. Wu Buxiong took Jiang Tian's hand and said gratefully. On the side, Wu Zhirua curled her lips. What's there to thank? How much did the Wu family give to the Jiang family in the past? What a pity. The Jiang family was useless and incompetent. The Medicine King group just got a little better, and it was withdrawn from the market and collapsed. Master Zhou, have you forgotten the bet? Why don't you kowtow and admit your mistake? Jiang Tian said lazily. Seeing this, Wu Zhirua hurriedly glared at Jiang Tian. Jiang Tian, forget it, don't be disrespectful to Master Zhou. Who does he think he is? Do you need me to respect him? Jiang Tian said with a cold smile. Master Zhou felt greatly insulted. He straightened his neck and said coldly, "Kid, if you dare to be rash, I will kill you." Noisy. Jiang Tian clapped his hand. Smack. With a thud, Master Zhou was slapped to the ground and his knees were bleeding. Jiang Tian, what are you doing? This is too much. Do you have to be so overbearing? Wu Zhirua and Sun Jiaro both felt that Jiang Tian was unreasonable and criticized him. This person is so domineering. Is he an earth martial Dao master or a perfected cultivator? Scary. But Master Zhou was horrified. The other party did not even touch him and he was slapped to the ground. It was obvious that his cultivation was heaven-defying. Are you convinced? Jiang Tian asked lightly. I am convinced. I am convinced. Master Zhou hurriedly kowtowed like pounding garlic. His cultivation in magic was only perception. There was still a long way to go. If he met such a master, he would die. Get out. Jiang Tian flicked his sleeves. Yes, I'll get out. I'll get out. Master Zhou got up as if he was pardoned. He was scared out of his wits and crawled out of the door. Yes, get out. Are you deaf? Get out of here to the hospital gate. Jiang Tian said lightly. Yes. I'll get out. Master Zhou was stunned and suddenly realized. He immediately shrank his head and feet, covered his head with both hands, and rolled out like a ball. Uncle Wu, let's go. I'll send you out of the hospital. Jiang Tian smiled and said to Wu Buxiong. In fact, his task of curing Wu Buxiong's strange disease had been completed. He could report it to his father. But when he entered the hospital, he found that the devil qi in Wu Buxiong's body and the remaining devil qi in the hospital was very similar to the devil qi near Jiang Zhixing. This made Jiang Tian a little more vigilant. He wanted to see if there were any devils hiding around the Wu family. Jiang Tian, if you have something to do, just do it. But Wu Zhirua suddenly became vigilant. This Jiang Tian wouldn't take the opportunity to stay and get close to her, would he? That would be too disgusting. Sun Jiaro said sarcastically, Jiang Tian, don't you have 1,000 villas to sell? Go do your big business. Why are you mingling with poor people like us? What are you talking about? Jiang Tian is our guest. Wu Buxiong glared at the two women and then praised. Jiang Tian, your domineering look is a bit like your mother. Ha, your father has always been gentle and elegant. The more he looked at Jiang Tian, the more he liked him. It was a pity that Zhirua was too arrogant and delicate back then and missed Jiang Tian, a young and handsome man. Dad, you're still praising him. Jiang Tian is too much. Doesn't he know who Master Zhou is? Wu Zhirua shouted in dissatisfaction. Master Zhou had great influence in Hong Kong and had a lot of connections. Even if Jiang Tian had some ability in terms of Dao techniques and profound techniques, offending this kind of local tyrant would probably not end well. She couldn't be bothered to care about Jiang Tian's life or death. The key was that Master Zhou was a disciple of Sima Zhai. If Sima Zhai was alarmed and made a move to suppress the Wu family, then wouldn't he have been killed by Jiang Tian? Sure enough, it was as Wu Zhirua had guessed. After Master Zhou rolled out of the hospital, he was furious. Many people saw him rolling out of the hospital just now. Not only did they laugh at him, but they also took photos and videos. If news of this were to spread out, wouldn't his reputation be ruined in an instant? Humph, I can't just let it go. Master Zhou gritted his teeth and said, this time I'm going to ask the little witch to kill this mainland guy. The little witch is the granddaughter of Master Sima Zhai. She is his true disciple. If she makes a move, this mainland guy must be very embarrassed. Thinking of the little witch's insidious means, Master Zhou seemed to have seen Jiang Tian's embarrassed and dusty appearance. He laughed sinisterly. Chapter 696. When Jiang Tian, Wu Buxiong, and Wu Jiruo returned to Wu Buxiong's apartment in Kowloon Nathan Road, it was already dark. Wu Jiruo was very satisfied with her apartment. There were commercial buildings and apartments on both sides of the street, and tourists were everywhere. There were all kinds of neon signs, and luxury shops were everywhere. It was a shopping mecca. But Jiang Tian shook his head in his heart. 1,000-feet mansion was only around 90 square meters. If it was in China, it would be an ordinary apartment. The key was that this place was too noisy and filled with the aura of the secular world. He would rather live in a cave than live in a place like this. But Jiang Tian was relieved that there was no demonic aura around. At least Wu Buxiong was safe. Jiang Tian, thank you so much. Make yourself at home. I will go and prepare a few dishes. Let's have a drink later. Wu Buxiong had just recovered from his illness, and he was in a good mood. He invited Jiang Tian into the living room and started cooking in the kitchen. When Wu Jiruo reached home, she hid in the study room and said that she was working overtime. She did not want to talk to Jiang Tian. Jiang Tian was helping Wu Buxiong in the kitchen. At the same time, he wanted to know more about the Wu family. Old Master Wu had passed away more than a year ago, and Wu Buxiong was now the head of the Wu family. The Wu family had been in the real estate business all these years. Their biggest client was Hong Kong's Superman Lee's Yellow River Real Estate. Now, Yellow River Real Estate had a change of management. The Wu family's connections had been purged, and it was not easy to get the business. Furthermore, after Wu Jiruo took over the company, she was not as proficient in the market as Wu Buxiong. Now, the Wu family's business was in trouble, and their assets had shrunk. They only have less than 100 million renminbi. Yellow River Real Estate changing management? That's just an excuse. Suddenly, a woman in her 40s walked out from the bedroom and sneered. Who doesn't know that Superman Lee from Hong Kong is very close to Song Beishan from the Song family in Beijing? Jiang Tian had offended the Song family, and the Song family knows that we had helped them in the past. That's why they asked Superman Lee to stop us. This woman's makeup was also very exquisite, and she was dressed fashionably. She was bedecked with jewelry and wore branded clothes. However, her cheekbones were very high, her lips were big and thin, and her gaze was sharp. She gave people a feeling that she was mean, merciless, and worldly. Aunt Chu Chu. Jiang Tian recognized this person. She was Wu Buxiong's younger sister, Wu Chu Chu, who was also Wu Jiruo's aunt. In his previous life, Wu Chu Chu had looked down on Jiang Tian. She strongly opposed the marriage between Wu Jiruo and Jiang Tian, and attacked Jiang Tian in every possible way. In her opinion, those who could match Wu Jiruo must be the sons of the 4 richest families in Hong Kong. How could a mainlander like Jiang Tian be qualified? In his previous life, the year 2011 was around the same time. Under the pressure of the 3 most influential families in Jin City, Jiang Tian and Medicine King Group were having a hard time. Jiang Tian had gone to Hong Kong to seek financing to solve their financial problems. However, Wu Chu Chu and a group of Hong Kong tycoons mocked and ridiculed him. Jiang Tian could only smile and endure the humiliation. But in this life, Jiang Tian was extremely wealthy, and his friends were the Prime Minister of Singapore, the leaders of the Californian conglomerates, and the President of the European Union. He did not care about these tycoons in Hong Kong. Chu Chu, don't say anything. What are you talking about? Wu Buxiong glared at his sister and then looked at Jiang Tian apologetically. Jiang Tian, please don't take it to heart. Wu Chu Chu was not going to let it go. She looked at Jiang Tian angrily and said, if it weren't for him, the Wu family would not have fallen to this state. Chu Chu, if you continue to be so rude, get out of my house. Wu Buxiong shouted angrily. Wu Chu Chu had always wanted to curry favor with the rich and powerful. For so many years, she had been looking at the mountains from one mountain to another, and she had changed boyfriends again and again. In the end, she was still unmarried at the age of 40. Now, She was living in Wu Buxiong's house every day. Now, under Wu Chuchu's influence, his daughter had developed a similar personality. She was calculative, heartless, and materialistic. Of course, his daughter had received higher education and knew business etiquette, so she would not be so straightforward. Not to mention, just based on the fact that Jiang Tian had saved her life, Wu Chuchu had no reason or right to be rude to Jiang Tian. Humph, brother, you are so unrepentant. Hanging out with this kind of person will get you killed sooner or later. Wu Chuchu was so angry that her face turned red. She flung her sleeves and went into the study. Ignore her. Wu Buxiong smiled at Jiang Tian and said, she hasn't had a boyfriend for too long. Her hormones are out of whack. I'm so annoyed with her. It's okay. Although Wu Buxiong said so, Jiang Tian felt that Wu Chuchu was telling the truth. Superman Li's family in Hong Kong might have received orders from the Song family to not do business with the Wu family as a favor. After all, Superman Li's family in China was under the protection of the Song family. Thinking up to here, Jiang Tian could not help but feel somewhat moved. Wu Buxiong had sacrificed a lot for the Jiang family. After a while, the dishes were ready. The four of them sat around the dining table, chatting as they ate. Wu Buxiong and Wu Buxiong drank a few glasses of wine. Jiang Tian thought for a while and smiled, Uncle Wu, don't worry. I will help the Wu family rebuild. Sister Zhirua, if you are willing, I can introduce you to Superman Li. A few $100 million worth of business is nothing to me. At the mountain behind Wu Dang, Superman Li wanted to be Jiang Tian's disciple to seek protection. If Jiang Tian wanted to help the Wu family, it would only take him a few words. Jiang Tian, how do you know? Wu Buxiong was shocked. Superman Li had a high status, and even Wu Buxiong had not met him personally. It was because Old Master Wu and Superman Li were of the same generation that the Wu family got the Yellow River property deal. But before Wu Buxiong could finish his sentence. Jiang Tian, are you kidding me? Wu Chuchu screamed exaggeratedly, you know Superman Li. You are too good at bragging. Who is Superman Li? He is the richest man in Hong Kong and a real estate tycoon. When he goes to China, the leaders of the country will welcome him personally. Wu Chuchu sneered, who do you think you are, Jiang Tian? My father is just a government official. Even your father is not qualified to talk to Superman Li, let alone you. And your family's Medicine King group. It used to be powerful and did well, but didn't it suddenly withdraw from the market in the end? It must have been destroyed by the Song family. This is all your fault. You have harmed the Jiang family, and now you want to harm the Wu family. Go away. My family does not welcome scammers. Wu Chuchu had crossed the line. But Wu Zhirua felt what Wu Chuchu said made sense. Jiang Tian, this kind of vain, pompous, and evil guy, should be slapped in the face like this. Now, Medicine King Group had been delisted, and the Jiang family had moved overseas. The Jiang family is on the verge of collapse. Why did Jiang Tian visit the Wu family at this time? He must be here to seek help from the Wu family and get some benefits. If you, Jiang Tian, were to be honest, then it would be fine. I, Wu Zhirua, might be kind enough to help you and give you a few melons or 2 dates. But you have been lying and bragging all the way here. That's not good. Why are you pretending? You even introduced me to Superman Li. Can't you be more humble? I am not stupid. I am a new business elite, and I have my own judgment. Will I fall for your tricks? Choo-choo, what you said is too much. If you continue to do this, get out. Jiang Tian is my guest. This time, Wu Buxiong was really angry. He slammed his chopsticks on the table and shouted at the door. I am too much. Wu Chuchu was so angry that she laughed. She stood up and pointed at Jiang Tian with disdain. Who does he think he is? How dare a toad try to eat swan meat? He chased after Zhirua. At that time, Many rich young masters in Hong Kong were chasing after Zhirua. The Xiang family's Qian Xiang. The Tang family's young master Tang. Which one of them is not a business elite? Which one of them is not a young master from a wealthy family? Which one of them is not a business genius? What about you, Wu Buxiong? You looked down on them and even announced that Zhirua and Jiang Tian are going to get married. What happened in the end? The more she talked, the more agitated she became. Her words were like swords, and every word she said was sarcastic. In her eyes, Jiang Tian was just an ant that she could step on. So what if he was angry? So what if she stepped on him? Now you have seen what happened to the Jiang family. Who does Jiang Tian think he is? He offended a powerful family in Yanjin and ruined the Jiang family. Our Wu family was also implicated. We sold the villa at Repulse Bay and lived in this small house. How can a disaster like him compare to those rich young masters in Hong Kong? You are a fool. It was you who tried to matchmake Jiang Tian and Wu Zhirua. Those rich young masters in Hong Kong looked down on Zhirua because of that. Zhirua is still unmarried. You have ruined Zhirua's life. Wu Chu Chu, just because he cured my illness, he is my benefactor. Based on the fact that Uncle Changding once cured father, the Jiang family is our Wu family's benefactor. How can you be so ungrateful? A drop of water should be repaid with a gushing spring. How can you be so rude to Jiang Tian? Wu Buxiong was so angry that he was trembling. He pointed at the door and shouted, "Get out! Don't be a freeloader in my house." Benefactor? Wu Chu Chu sneered and said disdainfully, "I've heard about what happened in the afternoon. He offended Master Zhou and dared to be disrespectful to Su Maozhai. He will get you killed. Just you wait." As she spoke, she picked up her bag and hurried out. "Jiang Tian, I'll let you be arrogant, I'll let you overestimate yourself. I'll wait to collect your corpse." Chapter 697. After she left, Wu Buxiong was so angry that he sat down on the chair. He couldn't calm down for a long time. "Jiang Tian, I'm sorry." After a while, Wu Buxiong stood up and bowed to Jiang Tian solemnly. "My sister has been neglected since she was young. That's why she's so arrogant. Uncle apologizes to you." "It's okay, Uncle Wu. I don't care." Jiang Tian hurriedly stood up and supported him with his hands, smiling faintly. On the other hand, Wu Zhirua glanced at Jiang Tian with disdain, and a wisp of cold ridicule appeared on the corners of her mouth. "You don't care? So what if you care? Give my aunt a good beating. Do you dare? After all, you're here to ask for help. How dare you beat up the god of fortune? You're an idiot, but you're not that stupid." In fact, Jiang Tian really didn't care. He was only here to repay the Wu family's kindness. After that, he would leave. As for being rejected by Wu Zhirua in his previous life, he didn't care anymore. It was like a fleeting dream. He couldn't be bothered to explain Wu Chu Chu's misunderstanding. Because he didn't need Wu Chu Chu and Wu Zhirua's approval. They were two unrelated people. "Jiang Tian, stay at home. Don't go to the hotel." After dinner, when Jiang Tian stood up to leave, Wu Buxiong sincerely asked him to stay. "We haven't talked enough yet. You should talk to Sister Zhirua tonight. Just treat her as an elder sister and talk to her." "I don't have time to talk to him. I have to work overtime. I have to talk to the people from Yellow River Real Estate tomorrow." Wu Zhirua was shocked. "Talk to Jiang Tian. Don't scare me. He's full of bullshit. I can't even answer him. It's too awkward. Forget it, Uncle Wu. I'll stay at the Peninsula Hotel tonight. A few friends are waiting for me." In fact, even without Wu Zhirua's objection, Jiang Tian wouldn't stay there. Zhen Shuai, Qing Yi, and Jiang Tian had made several calls to urge Jiang Tian. It was rare for him to get together with his brothers, so Jiang Tian didn't want to waste time on Wu Zhirua. That's too bad. Jiang Tian, you go and find your friends first, but you must come and stay at our house for a few days. Wu Buxiong helplessly stood up to send him off. He walked Jiang Tian all the way to the door. She then glared at Wu Zhirua behind her and said, Zhirua, why aren't you sending Jiang Tian off? Wu Zhirua had no choice but to send Jiang Tian downstairs. Jiang Tian, thank you for saving my dad today. If you have any difficulties, just tell me. After all, our families have been friends for generations. Although she despised Jiang Tian, Wu Zhirua still maintained her etiquette on the surface. However, he could also feel that she was deliberately keeping a distance from him. I'm fine. Jiang Tian shook his head with a faint smile. If you want money, just say it. Why are you still so stubborn? Wu Zhirua snorted coldly in her heart and couldn't help but say, be careful these few days. You offended Master Zhou, so he will definitely take care of you. Also, it's better to keep your violent and domineering personality in check. Hong Kong is full of hidden dragons and crouching tigers. It's not comparable to the mainland. It's okay. Those are just ants. Jiang Tian shook his head indifferently. Jiang Tian, you. Wu Zhirua was so angry that her face turned red. At this moment, a Mercedes-Benz off-road car parked by the side of the road suddenly opened its door. Master Zhou and a beautiful nun got out of the car and walked over quickly, surrounded by 7 or 8 strong men. From afar, Master Zhou pointed at Jiang Tian and shouted, Little witch, this is the person who hit me. He even scolded Master Su Majai. Quickly take care of him. Jiang Tian, did you see that? This is what you get for stirring up trouble everywhere you go. Zhou Zhirua snorted. She was very pleased. This is Su Majai's granddaughter, little witch Su Zixuan. She is very famous in Hong Kong. You will be played to death by her. In Hong Kong, Su Majai's family was even more powerful than Superman Li and Xiao Shikuan's family. Su Majai was proficient in Dharma spells, physiognomy, feng shui, divination, and so on. He had been in Hong Kong for decades and had been challenged by countless foreign sorcerers, tame headmasters, and Taoist priests. But he was still famous and was known as the guardian of Hong Kong. Now, Su Majai lived in seclusion deep in the mountains of the outlying islands, where wind and water gathered. Basically, only the top tycoons in Hong Kong could invite him to work for them. Usually, his granddaughter, little witch Su Zixuan, took care of the daily affairs. Little witch Su Majai did not disappoint. She was only 17 or 18 years old, but she had already made a name for herself. Not only in Hong Kong, but also in Taiwan, Macau, and Southeast Asia. Because of her height, long legs, and beautiful appearance, she was a frequent guest of the upper class. Many rich young masters were chasing after her, and she was known as the top socialite in Hong Kong. Hee, she will definitely kowtow to me when she sees me, Jiang Tian smiled faintly. Even at death's door, you're still being stubborn, still pretending, and still boasting. Wu Zhirua could not believe it. She gritted her teeth and walked away. She hated Jiang Tian so much that she did not want to stay a minute longer. I was going to put in a few good words for you, but since you want to die, then go to hell. I don't care about you anymore. Jiang. Master Kong. Little witch Su Zixuan did not expect to see her idol here. She was stunned for a moment. Slap. She turned around and slapped Master Zhou in the face. She shouted, Get lost. How dare you disrespect Master Kong? Little witch, why did you hit me? Master Zhou was suddenly stunned and covered his face in astonishment. This is Master Kong. Tell me, should I hit you or not? Su Zixuan slapped him again. She was so angry that she felt like her lungs were about to explode. You dare to be disrespectful to my idol? See if I don't beat you to death, you pig head. Jiang. Master Kong. Forgive me for not recognizing you. In fact, you are my idol. Master Zhou was stunned for a moment. Suddenly, he realized something. He was so scared that his face turned pale. Cold sweat broke out on his forehead. He was about to kneel down in front of Jiang Tian. You still want to get close to Master Kong? Do you think you are worthy? Break your legs and kick you out of Hong Kong. Don't let me see you in Hong Kong again. Su Zixuan waved her hand angrily. Master Zhou, I'm sorry. 7 or 8 strong men rushed up and carried Master Zhou into the alley. They broke his legs and beat him until he screamed in pain. Master Kong, I didn't expect to see you in Hong Kong. Su Zixuan blinked her big watery eyes and looked at Jiang Tiandao with admiration and adoration. Master Kong, where do you want to go? I'll treat you. Hong Kong is my territory. What's so fun about you? Don't covet me. Jiang Tian glared at her and warned her sternly. I'm not coveting your beauty. Su Zixuan was shocked and quickly waved her hand. Wow, Grandmaster Zhang's magic power was indeed deep, and he could read minds. Don't tell me you know that I took your photo and did those shameful things to you. Oh my god, it's so embarrassing. Jiang Tian smiled and said, but I'll give you a chance. Send me to the Glory World Club. Okay. Su Zixuan was sad and resentful. I'm all grown up now. I'm already 1.9 meters tall. But you didn't even look at me. Instead, you went to the brothel. How could you do this? Master Kong, you have fallen. In the sightseeing elevator, Wu Zhirua saw Su Zixuan hugging Jiang Tian's arm and getting into the Mercedes-Benz together. It can't be. Their posture is so intimate. Does he really know Su Zixuan? Wu Zhirua was shocked and rubbed her eyes. She was just mocking Jiang Tian for being reckless. But now, it seemed that Su Zixuan was very respectful to Jiang Tian. She even opened the car door for Jiang Tian. At that moment, Wu Zhirua felt that she was an idiot. Her face was swollen. No, he should be controlled and kidnapped by Su Zixuan. But the next moment, Wu Zhirua shook her head. Jiang Tian was just a small fry from China. How could he know Su Zixuan? Back at home, Wu Zhirua didn't tell her dad that Jiang Tian was kidnapped. She only looked at her dad and said angrily, Dad, why do you value Jiang Tian so much? Jiang Tian is definitely not an ordinary person. Wu Buxiong pondered for a moment and said solemnly, I advise you to control your temper. Put away your contempt and disdain. Treat him with respect and build a good relationship with him. If you continue to be like this, I'll give you a piece of advice. You will definitely regret it. There were many bad rumors about the Jiang family. They said that the Jiang family was on the verge of collapse under the suppression of the Liu and Song families. They said that the Medicine King group was delisted and that they had run overseas to avoid the limelight. But Wu Buxiong didn't think so. Because he realized that Jiang Tian was too calm in the face of Wu Chuchu's mockery. He didn't have any emotional fluctuations at all. Jiang Tian's calm and collected manner made him secretly shocked in his heart. How magnanimous, how strong of a heart and confidence was that? If it were an ordinary person, they would definitely try to defend themselves. They might even argue with Wu Chuchu without any grace. Jiang Tian was calm and happy. It could be said that he didn't get angry for no reason, and he wasn't shocked when faced with a sudden situation. Wu Buxiong had only seen this kind of magnanimity on top bosses like Xiao Shikuan. I regret, Wu Zhirua smiled but didn't say anything. Her eyes were full of mockery. How could it be? Wu Zhirua had seen all kinds of young talents. Not to mention top young masters like Xiao Yunhao and Li Zhikai, even Luo Ziho, who was pursuing her, was much better than Jiang Tian. Daddy was too pedantic. What was there to care about old feelings? What was there to repay a drop of water with a gushing spring? What was there to look at the future? She, Wu Zhirua, lived in the present. She only married into a rich family and only made friends with rich young masters. As for Jiang Tian, this kind of impoverished family, please die as far as you can think. I don't care what you think. In short, in the next few days, you have to accompany Jiang Tian. How could Wu Buxiong not know his daughter's personality? So, he also gave a strict order. Remember my advice today. Don't underestimate Jiang Tian. Don't look down on him. His ability is not something you and I can imagine. It's so depressing. Wu Zhirua had a headache. She still had to meet the executives of Huanghe Real Estate tomorrow. What was the point of bringing Jiang Tian along? It would definitely embarrass her. Chapter 698. Little Witch, I think there have been some strange deaths in Hong Kong recently. In the Mercedes-Benz, Jiang Tian looked at Su Zixien and said lightly. You and your grandpa investigate and give me a summary. I will check it out when I have time. Don't worry, Master Kong, I will complete the mission. Su Zixien saluted Jiang Tian like a loyal guard. Don't be so nervous, Jiang Tian shook his head. By the way, Master Kong, Superman Li, He Hongqian, and Wan Qili have visited my grandpa many times after you destroyed the Wu Dang Mountain. Can you give them a chance? Su Zixien asked boldly. It depends on the time. I will give you a call when it's convenient. Jiang Tian said lightly. Then I will turn on the phone for you 24 hours a day. Su Zixien said expectantly. A while later. Jiang Tian arrived at Xingshi Wang Mansion and met up with Zhen Shuai, Qing Yi, Tan Guangxiu, Jiang Chao, and the other young men. When Jiang Tian went to visit Wu Buxiong in the afternoon, Zhen Shuai had already received his Hong Kong ID and passport. To thank his friends in Hong Kong, Zhen Shuai hosted a banquet for them, mainly people from the Xinhua News Agency and the China Joint Office. When Jiang Tian arrived, the banquet reached a climax. If someone asked him which Hong Kong celebrity he wanted to have as his companion, he could invite anyone. Zhen Shuai's net worth was in the hundreds of millions. Although he was not considered rich among the top tycoons in Hong Kong, he was still a rich man for those small celebrities. What's the point of being a celebrity? It's a waste of our time. Zhen Shuai rejected the offer. Although Zhen Shuai looked careless, he was not stupid. He knew that Jiang Tian's help was indispensable for everything he had obtained. He noticed that Jiang Tian's temperament had changed. He did not like these kinds of things, so he did not dare to mess around. Someone whispered, "You can invite any female celebrity you like to spend the night with. They are all clearly priced. Show me the menu." Seeing that Jiang Tian was leisurely sipping his tea and not paying attention to him, Zhen Shuai was tempted and asked in a low voice, "Do you have any from Taiwan?" The pimp nodded and went out to make a call. When he came back, he said, "Young Master Zhen, the Taiwanese actress that you want is in Hong Kong. If she says it's you, she can give you a 20% discount." Zhen Shuai was dumbfounded and asked curiously, "I haven't even said her name, and you already know who I'm going to pick. Do you have mind-reading skills?" The pimp smiled embarrassedly and said, "The rich merchants and high officials from the mainland will usually order her." "What price?" Zhen Shuai asked. Broker leaned close to his ear and spat out a number. Zhen Shuai placed the cup filled with XO on the table and said with disdain, "Isn't the price a little too high? My money doesn't grow on trees." "Is it gold? Inlaid with gold?" "It's clearly inlaid with diamonds." Jiang Chao burst out laughing. Broker was probably used to seeing customers from the mainland like Zhen Shuai, so it wasn't strange for him to see customers more boorish than Zhen Shuai. He smiled and said patiently, "Young Master Zhen, imagine the feeling of carrying a goddess that no one dares to profane on your shoulders. Wouldn't you feel that it's worth it?" Zhen Shuai turned his head abruptly and stared at Broker for a few seconds with his hazy, drunken eyes. He slapped his thigh and laughed. "You're really a genius. Just because of what you said, I don't want the discount. Original price. Young Master Zhen, please. Broker raised his glass full of expensive red wine, his face full of respect and reverence. Zhen Shuai raised the wine cup and drank it in one gulp. He called the finance director and said generously, transfer money to an account, do you want to give this big boss one too? Broker saw that Zhen Shuai and the others were very respectful towards Jiang Tian. That tall man called Cheng Yi, who looked like a high-ranking bodyguard, didn't even leave Zhen Shuai's side. He guessed that Jiang Tian should be Zhen Shuai's big brother, so he suggested. Don't you? My brother doesn't like women. Don't dirty his eyes with those female stars. Zhen Shuai was so scared that his whole body trembled. He warned sternly. Then this big boss likes men. I can find that too. Broker misunderstood. Do you think it's your turn to introduce if he likes men? I'm going to do it myself. Zhen Shuai slapped the back of Broker's head and scolded jokingly, that's enough. If you dare to talk nonsense again, I'll be killed by God Jiang. Broker couldn't believe it. A rich man who doesn't play with women can still be called a rich man. This was too unbelievable. In fact, how could Zhen Shuai's little tricks on the plane escape Jiang Tian's eyes? Jiang Tian sipped his tea and said calmly, Cheng Yi, how has Zhen Shuai been these 2 years? Soaking in wine and meat every day, drinking 3 times a day, surrounded by groups of people who drink and chat with him, play with sports cars, cigars, and whiskey. He's Richard Mills' super VIP. When Patek Philippe releases a new product, they'll call him first and send him to try it on. There's a room at home that's specially used to store branded watches. When the watch is turned, the whole wall will turn. He's already bought 7 or 8 sports cars. He's still researching commercial jets and wants to buy one. He doesn't lack women either. He changes them one after another. There are starlets, models, female university students, female secretaries, female executives, female venture capitalists, and all sorts of things. They come and go as they please. Cheng Yi shook his head and sighed. In the end, he said a little worriedly, Jiang Tian, talk to him when you have the time. He's so arrogant. I reckon he can only listen to you now. Forget it. Jiang Tian shook his head. It's just a way of life. It doesn't matter if it's right or wrong, as long as he's happy. He's young and frivolous. When he explodes, it's normal for him to indulge in women. Cheng Yi nodded. Keep a close eye on him. Don't let anyone set a trap for him. Also, don't touch drugs. Jiang Tian said worriedly. Jiang Tian knew that Jinling was a place where crooks mixed with honest folk. There had never been a shortage of rich people. There were both men and women who had already formed gangs and were good at all kinds of schemes. There were women who pretended to be decent and seduced simple-minded IT upstarts. After getting married, they quickly divorced to split half of the family assets. There were women who placed their lovers by their husband's side as assistants. Their positions were occupied, and they worked together to empty the company's assets before running away. Or they used pregnancy as an excuse to blackmail for huge compensation. Some even set up traps to lure people to gamble, take drugs, and so on. You don't have to worry about that. Cheng Yi hurriedly said. Zhen Shuai's father used to be an old policeman. He's very clear-headed. Now that he's retired, he's helping him keep an eye on his company. Also, Su Zhenlei is covering for him. Jiang Tian nodded slightly. He wasn't used to such noisy occasions. He returned to the hotel to rest first and let them continue playing. The next morning, Jiang Tian was meditating. Jiang Chao knocked on the door and took Jiang Tian and the others out to relax. After a while, the brothers gathered together. Jiang Chao suggested, the food in the Peninsula Hotel isn't good. Let's go to the food stall next to the Bauhinia Plaza. The deep well roast goose there is not bad. Since they were here to play, of course, they wanted to eat some local specialties. No one had any objections. Jiang Tian wasn't interested in Hong Kong. When he was in Linzhou, he often came to Hong Kong and played there many times. However, Zhen Shuai, Cheng Yi, Tan Guangxiu, and the others didn't want to stay in the hotel. After all, they had to organize some activities. Hong Kong was a very crowded city. Every inch of land was worth an inch of gold. The streets were narrow and the so-called Bauhinia Plaza was only the size of a palm. At the Yongji porridge stall next to the plaza, Jiang Chao ordered a table of food in one go. Everyone ate and chatted. At this time, Jiang Tian's phone rang. It was Wu Zhirua. Wu Zhirua seemed to have forgotten about yesterday's unhappiness. She asked, Jiang Tian, where are you? I'll accompany you. There's no need. Jiang Tian frowned. Do you think I want to talk to you? If it wasn't for my dad's order, I wouldn't talk to you. Wu Zhirua complained in her heart. However, she said coquettishly, Jiang Tian, you are a guest in Hong Kong. I have to be a good host. Then come to the Yongji porridge stall next to the Bauhinia Plaza. I'm having breakfast with my friends. Jiang Tian nodded. He could bring her to meet Superman Li or Li Zhikai at night. He called Su Zixuan and asked her to arrange it. On Wu Zhirua's side. On the first floor of the Peninsula Hotel. She hung up the phone and smiled disdainfully. What a joke. You are staying at the Peninsula Hotel but eating at a food stall. I don't believe you. Sigh, Jiang Tian really likes to show off. Sun Jiaro shook her head and said disdainfully, he must be feeling inferior. That's why he is acting like this. I think this Chinese bumpkin is trying to attract Zhirua's attention. He is already married, but he still has not given up. The person who spoke was a handsome young man in luxurious clothes. However, he gave off a frivolous and arrogant aura. A few years ago, Luo Ziho met Jiang Tian once. At that time, Father Wu wanted to matchmake Jiang Tian and Wu Zhirua, so Luo Ziho treated Jiang Tian like a formidable enemy. However, Luo Ziho casually teased Jiang Tian a few times and made Jiang Tian return dejectedly. Now, the Luo family's business was getting bigger and bigger. Luo Ziho's position in Wu Zhirua's heart suddenly rose and he became her #1 boyfriend candidate. Although Luo Ziho and Wu Zhirua were getting along well and were about to become boyfriend and girlfriend. However, when he thought of his former love rival, Jiang Tian, Luo Ziho was still very unhappy. He secretly decided to humiliate him this time. Chapter 699. Why are you being jealous? Don't you find it embarrassing to be jealous of him? Let's go. I will play with him for a few days and ask him to leave. I don't have time to play with idiots like him. Wu Zhirua rolled her eyes at Luo Ziho and walked out of the hotel. She went to the car park and got into her car. I don't want to waste my time on him. Luo Ziho disdainfully got into his car and shook his head. I'm going back to the company. The representative from Yellow River Real Estate will be here soon. At the Wu family's Man Tingchun Real Estate. The Luo family owns a lot of shares in the company and Luo Ziho is their CEO. After a while, Wu Zhirua and Sun Jiaro met up with Jiang Tian and the rest. Looking at the dirty restaurant and the cheap food, the two women were disgusted. They usually go to high-end Western restaurants and a meal costs at least a few thousand RMB. At the very least, Pizza Hut was a place where the elegant bourgeoisie would go. These roadside stalls are dirty and the waiters do not wear uniforms. There are also no famous chefs. These are the places where low-class workers eat. My dad's friend's daughter, this is, Jiang Tian introduced his friends to Wu Zhirua. Jiang Chao and Zhen Shuai nodded and welcomed the beauties. Wu Zhirua remembered that this woman had gone on a blind date with Jiang Tian. Never mind. Don't get too close to her. Wu Zhirua and Sun Jiaro wiped the chairs a few times before sitting down. Humph. He said he knows Superman Li. What a joke. That's right. Look at his friends. All of them are like hooligans. They didn't eat either. They played with their phones and whispered to each other. Jiang Tian and the rest were dressed casually. Jiang Tian was dressed casually. Cheng Yi was honest. Jiang Chao was dressed casually. Tan Guangxiu was a government official and kept a low profile. Only Zhen Shuai was dressed casually. But he did not look like a nouveau riche. The two women had exquisite makeup and were dressed luxuriously. They looked like they were not from the same world. Jiang Tian and the rest were eating and chatting. Jiang Chao said with a cheeky face. Marshal Zhen, every minute of the night is worth 1,000 gold. Last night was worth 1 million, wasn't it? 1 million a night. Are you serious? Sun Jiao's eyes widened when she heard this. She looked away from her phone and nudged Wu Zhirua with her elbow. Wu Zhirua was also half believing and half doubting. She listened attentively. You might not believe it. Zhen Shuai drank the freshly squeezed juice and said casually, I took her to Causeway Bay to eat a bowl of dal noodles. I didn't find it interesting, so I chased her away. Have you paid? Jiang Chao asked. Pay as you wish. Fuck, you idiot. If you don't want to do it, I will. I'll be there with just a call. Seeing that Jiang Tian didn't say anything, Jiang Chao mustered up his courage and complained. Zhen Shuai laughed and said, if you go, 1 million won't be enough. You're not as handsome as me. Cheng Yi ate the shrimp dumplings and asked with a smile, Zhen Shuai, what do you think? Is the gun out of bullets? When have I ever surrendered and not killed? She's older than me, and she's very coquettish. I can't stand it. Zhen Shuai took out a cigarette and held it in his mouth, but he didn't light it. He shook his head and said, the key is that she's too tall. He's just like a fucking horse. I'll have to step on him from the back with 2 pieces of cloth. What a disappointment. You're still lacking when it comes to being a playboy. But when it comes to wasting resources, you're definitely the #1 in the Greater China Circle. Jiang Tian laughed so hard that he almost spat out the noodles. It was quite interesting to play with these childhood friends occasionally. The crowd also burst into laughter. Bullshit. Vulgar. At this time, Wu Zhirua and Sun Jiao understood. They shook their heads and said with disdain. Spending millions in one night just to eat a bowl of noodles with a female celebrity. Even the top tycoons in Hong Kong couldn't do that. Obviously, Jiang Tian and the others had already discussed and deliberately acted like this to attract the attention of the girls. But this was too exaggerated. Can't you be more logical and realistic? However, when Jiang Tian and the others laughed, they attracted the attention of some diners nearby. Don't you know that there's a smoking ban in Hong Kong? No manners. A guy with a dragon and tiger tattoo on his arm saw Zhen Shuai with a cigarette in his mouth and slammed the table and scolded. Zhen Shuai and Jiang Tian were newly promoted playboys. They had followed Jiang Tian to rise and had seen all kinds of big scenes. How could they stand being scolded like this? Zhen Shuai turned his head and stood up. He asked coldly, are you blind? I'm only holding a cigarette. Did I light it? Do you want to die? Wu Zhirua turned her head and saw that the gangsters were all wearing black t-shirts with the words, E and Society. She was so scared that her face turned pale. She quickly said, don't mess with them. They're members of E and Society. They're very bad. They don't even blink when they hit and kill people. Zhen Shuai's face was full of disdain. He sneered, Society. I'm afraid of them. They're nothing. They have to kneel in front of our young master Jiang. How do you know how powerful they are? Wu Zhirua's face was solemn and said nervously, recently, the Hong Kong independence forces have been rising. They've been gathering and marching illegally. It's very chaotic. And E and Society is their behind-the-scenes supporter. They're the biggest society in Hong Kong. They have more than 100,000 members. More than 1,000 minibuses and tens of thousands of taxis in Hong Kong are all controlled by them. You've heard of Xiang Qiangsheng, right? He's called Master Sheng. He's the #1 boss in Hong Kong's entertainment industry. He's the boss of Huaxing Company. Hundreds of celebrities from Hong Kong, Macau, and the mainland came to celebrate his birthday this year. And he's the behind-the-scenes controller of and society. He's nothing. Zhen Shuai complained resentfully. A trace of disdain flashed in his eyes. My brother Tian is here. Even the chief executive has to be polite, let alone him. You're still pretending. If you have the guts, fight with them. Sun Jiaro couldn't stand this group of mainland pretentious people. Her face was full of disdain as she deliberately mocked them. She wanted to see how long Jiang Tian and the rest could pretend for. Sun Jiaro, don't stir up trouble. Wu Zhirua turned pale with fright. Jiang Tian was a mainland bumpkin. If he got into a conflict with them, wouldn't he be tortured to death? How was she going to explain this to her father? Forget it. Don't disturb Jiang Tian's mood of eating. Cheng Yi glared at Zhen Shuai. Zhen Shuai was indignant. But he thought about it. Jiang Tian liked peace and quiet. He hated it when people made noise. So, he held back his anger and sat down. But their tolerance was seen as cowardly and easy to bully by the bosses of and society. The tattooed man who was the leader scolded sarcastically, "Fuck, these mainland dogs are locusts. They're buying houses on behalf of buyers. They've made Hong Kong a stinky port." Beside him, there were a few burly men. They were all tall and strong. Some of them had a head full of yellow hair. Some of them were bald. They looked ferocious. It was obvious that they were not good people. When they heard their boss speak, they started to mock them. "Poor mainland bumpkins, I heard that you can't even afford tea eggs. Fuck, Northern Aunt and Northern Sister are all here. Their prices are so cheap that they've stolen the business of the local girls. Their moral standing is as cheap as their social status. I think these people are here with their wives to sell themselves. Their wives are selling themselves, and they're counting the money for them." Ha! Cheng Yi and Tan Guangxu were still fine in the face of such mockery. They were both mature and steady. But Zhen Shuai and Jiang Chao were so angry that their lungs were about to explode. They gritted their teeth and their hands trembled. "Brother Tian, how can we tolerate this?" Jiang Chao clenched his fists angrily. "Brother Tian, don't worry. If you hit them, we can cover for you. We won't let you get into trouble." Zhen Shuai also pleaded. Seeing that they were only talking tough and did not dare to move, the mocking from the other side became even more intense. "Ha, what did they say? They want to fight? Are they trying to provoke us? We can bully these mainland bumpkins however we want. If they dare to resist, we'll scare them to death. Come on, hit me. If you don't hit me, you'll take my surname. You're my son." Sun Jiaro also sneered and mocked at this time. "Hee, Jiang Tian, why don't you continue acting? Continue acting. Acting tough requires strength. If you don't have strength, you're an idiot. The other party is and club. Do you dare to move? If you dare to move, don't even think about leaving Hong Kong alive today. When people scold you, you should just swallow it and be fine." "Great, now you can't get out of this situation." Wu Zhirua was relieved when she saw that Jiang Tian and the rest did not make a move. But she could not help but feel even more disdain and contempt for Jiang Tian and the rest. They were indeed pretending. Jiang Tian slowly finished the last mouthful of noodles and wiped his mouth with a tissue. He shook his head and sighed. "Since you can't bear it anymore, there's no need to bear it anymore. Let's fight." He was too lazy to fight against this kind of trash. But if Zhen Shuai and Jiang Chao wanted to fight, there was no need for him to stop them. They had the blood of the descendants of Yan and Huang, eating vegetables and food provided by the mainland. After being colonized for a few days, they had forgotten their ancestors and their motherland. They even thought that they were better than others. They were people who had forgotten their ancestors. They did not even count. Ha, do it. If you don't do it, you're cowards. Sun Jiaro was still mocking with a face full of disdain. She felt that Jiang Tian was completely bragging. How could Jiang Tian dare to provoke the Hong Kong club? But as soon as Jiang Tian's voice fell, Zhen Shuai folded a folding stool and approached. Trash, kneel down and kowtow to admit your mistakes, or I'll beat you to death. The few Hong Kong punks had always looked down on the mainlanders. How could they tolerate such arrogance? Damn you. One of them immediately kicked Jiang Chao. One of them even took out a dagger and waved it around, showing off his strength. Damn, I'm afraid that you won't use your dagger. If you take out your dagger, I'll be able to kill you. Jiang Chao snorted coldly and slapped the face of one of the punks in front of him. Blood spurted from his mouth and he fell to the ground. Before the other one could kick, Jiang Chao kicked him in the knee. Crack! The other party's knee was directly broken, and blood was dripping. He screamed and fell to the ground, hugging his leg and rolling on the ground. Another person rushed over, and Jiang Chao punched him in the chest. The latter flew 5 or 6 meters away. At this time, the other punks realized that Jiang Chao was a martial artist. They were so shocked that their faces turned pale, and they did not dare to go forward. Only the tattooed young man who was the leader did not move. He looked at Jiang Chao with a sinister smile and sneered, "Mainland kid, you're quite good at fighting. But do you know who you're fighting? They're all from Yi and Club's Wan Chai branch. My father is the tiger of Wan Chai, Chen Yaoxing. My godfather is the leader of Yi and Club, Xiang Qiangsheng. May I ask if you're afraid? May I ask if you can afford to offend them? Now, are you regretting it very much?" Then, the young man suddenly became cold. His gloomy eyes were full of biting cold killing intent. He slammed the table and roared loudly, "Now, all of you kneel down and kowtow to me, and I'll let you go. Otherwise, I'll make you a corpse on the street." Chapter 700. These mainlanders are definitely going to kneel. Of all the people they could mess with, they had to mess with the Yi and society. This is Chen Yaoxing's son, Jie Zai. And he's the godson of Yi and society's leader, Xiang Qiangsheng. Who would dare to mess with them? I'm afraid they'll be killed. Jie Zai and his gang often kill people. They don't know the immensity of heaven and earth. The shop owner, waiters and other Hong Kong diners also looked at Jiang Tian and his gang coldly, their faces full of mockery. "Jiang Tian, how could you really do it? What are you trying to do? Trying to be a hero? Now you're in big trouble." Seeing this, Sun Jiaro was shocked and shouted angrily. "Didn't you ask us to do it?" Zhen Shuai felt that this woman was retarded and retorted directly. Sun Jiaro was speechless for a moment, then she danced and argued unreasonably, "I'm asking you to die now, why don't you die? Yes, you can fight, but don't you know how powerful Yi and society is? They have guns. Is that something you mainlanders and ordinary people can afford to offend? We're all going to die because of you." She was angry and scared and was about to cry. "Jiang Tian, are you brainless? You really let them do it?" Wu Zhirua was also angry. "Yi and society, that's not something you can afford to offend. Even I will be implicated by you." Suddenly, Jie Zai noticed the tall and snow-white Wu Zhirua. He sneered sinisterly. "Oh right, your friends can't leave either. These 2 girls have to stay with us for a night, then I'll let you go. Fuck, we're just standing there. We're really going to die because of Jiang Tian." Sun Jiaro was so scared that her face turned pale and she was about to cry. Yi and society was shockingly powerful, it was not something a small rich family like them could afford to offend. Wu Zhirua was calmer and shouted righteously, "You're the ones who scolded and attacked first, and now you want us to apologize. Is there no law in Hong Kong?" "Hee, there is." Jie Zai sneered and said, "But Hong Kong's law is to protect the people of Hong Kong, not these locusts from the mainland." "Fuck your mother." Zhen Shuai swung the stool up high and viciously smashed it down on Jie Zai's head. Ouch! Jie Zai screamed miserably and rolled on the ground. His head was bleeding profusely. He clutched his head in disbelief. He glared at Zhen Shuai and said angrily, "You damned piece of trash, how dare you hit me?" The punks from Yi and society were also stunned. It was understandable if the mainlanders had taken action just now. Don't they know Jay's identity? But now, they already knew Jie Zai's background, yet they still dared to make a move. Were they crazy? Remember this forever. Hong Kong belongs to Hua Xia. Zhen Shuai approached him with a stool and said coldly, "It will always be an inseparable part of Hua Xia. You are a Hua Xia citizen. You will never have the right to insult the mainlanders and Hua Xia." "I'm not from Hua Xia, I'm from Hong Kong." Jie Zai struggled to get up, took out a butterfly knife, and viciously stabbed at Zhen Shuai. The butterfly knife flashed with a cold light. The speed of the stab was extremely fast, flashing a cold light. It was quite methodical. Jie Zai has made his move. He is an expert. The punks were excited. Unrepentant. Jiang Chao's right hand reached out like lightning, pinched his arm and suddenly twisted it. Crack! Jie Zai's arm was directly fractured, and the butterfly knife fell to the ground. Jie Zai screamed miserably. Zhen Shuai tacitly went forward and hit his face with the stool again. "Your father is the tiger of Wanchai. Come on, show me the tiger." Jie Zai staggered and spat out blood. His teeth fell out. Zhen Shuai hit him with the stool again and shouted angrily, "I heard that your godfather is Xiang Qiangsheng. Come on, show me the strong, show me the victory." Jie Zai's head was bleeding, his nose collapsed, and his head was like a bloody gourd. He was dizzy. "Aren't you arrogant? Didn't you look down on the mainlanders?" "I am a mainlander." "Stand up if you have the guts." Zhen Shuai hit his eyebrows with the stool again. Jie Zai fell to the ground, his eyeballs burst, and purple and black liquid sprayed all over the ground. Jie Zai screamed and shivered in fear. He crawled on the ground like a dead dog and drilled under the table. He had never seen such a ruthless mainlander before. Everywhere he went, he left a shocking trail of blood. "Aren't you awesome? Don't run. Don't be a coward." Jiang Chao kicked the table and dragged Jie Zai out like a dead dog. "Didn't you ask me to kneel down and kowtow? Otherwise, kill me." "Who's the one losing now?" Zhen Shuai took advantage of the opportunity, raised the stool high and smashed it on his knee. Ouch! Jie Zai's knee was instantly crushed, blood flowed out. He was in so much pain that he convulsed and fainted. "Fuck you." Jiang Chao flew up and kicked him in the chest again. Whoosh! Jie Zai knocked down 7 or 8 tables and fell out of the door. He then knocked into a car by the roadside and slowly fell down. His sternum collapsed, blood spurted out of his mouth, and he fainted. Wu Zhirua and Sun Jiaro were petrified and didn't dare to move a muscle. All the hoodlums had already run a few hundred meters away and didn't dare to approach Chin Fan. A few waiters and diners huddled in the corner, covering their heads with their hands and daring not to say a word. At this time, Jiang Tian slowly stood up and walked towards the silver-gray Bentley outside the door. When he passed by Jie Zai, Jiang Tian paused for a second and stomped on Jie Zai's hand. The 10 fingers were connected to the heart. The unconscious little hero screamed in pain and woke up. Jiang Tian didn't even look at him. He said lightly, "You are Xiang Qiangsheng's adopted son? You dare to threaten us with this?" Jiang Tian sneered. "Please tell him to get out of Hong Kong in 3 days. Otherwise, He will die. What did he say? He is too arrogant. Everyone was shocked by Chen Fan's words. Everyone thought that they were hallucinating. Jiang Tian, you are out of your mind. Wu Zhirua and Sun Jiao stomped their feet and thought that Jiang Tian had a death wish. Xiang Qiangsheng was the leader of the Yi and society in Hong Kong. Rumor had it that he was a branch of the 9-story pagoda in Taiwan and had connections with the Hong sect, the fucking gang in Japan, and the United Bamboo Gang in Taiwan. Xiang Qiangsheng had been in Hong Kong for decades and was a force to be reckoned with. Not even the police dared to mess with him. How dare Jiang Tian say something like that? He must be tired of living. We are staying at the Peninsula Hotel. If he is not afraid of death, he is welcome to challenge us. Then, Zhen Shuai pointed a finger at Jie Zai's nose and scolded him. Xiang Qiangsheng, my ass. He is nothing compared to my brother Tian. Motherfucker, he's even barking when I'm eating. After that, the group of hoodlums swaggered out of the food stall. You are crazy. You have no idea what you are talking about. You are digging your own grave. Wu Zhirua rushed out of the restaurant. She was so angry and anxious that she started to beat her chest and stomped her feet. Those Chinese bumpkins were not qualified to challenge Xiang Qiangsheng. They were going to be toyed with. They are so cunning. They are not staying at the Peninsula Hotel. How can Xiang Qiangsheng find them? Sun Jiao suddenly realized something. The next moment, Sun Jiao said fearfully, but let's just ignore them. A wise man will not stand under a dangerous wall. Wu Zhirua thought about it and agreed. She walked quickly to Jiang Tian and said apologetically, Jiang Tian, I have a business meeting today, so okay. Go ahead. Jiang Tian knew what she was thinking, but he didn't blame her. But I have an appointment with Superman Li's son. When are you free? It's Superman Li again. Wu Zhirua was so angry that she wanted to kick Jiang Tian away. She said coldly, I am sorry. I told you that I am very busy today. She waved her hand and walked away. Humph. Show off. Show off to your heart's content. Let them play you to death. I am too lazy to care about you. Jiang Tian and the others also wandered around casually. After breakfast, they drove away. Suddenly, Cheng Yi raised his eyebrows and said, Jiang Tian, there are 3 cars following us. Don't be nervous. They are our people. There are also Hong Kong police. Jiang Tian shook his head and smiled bitterly. He was afraid that his visit this time did not escape the attention of Huaxia's officials, which made Hong Kong very nervous. Sure enough, a black Honda off-road vehicle sped up and drove side by side. The window rolled down, and in the passenger seat, Colonel Shu Wei, the liaison officer of Battle Dragon, looked at Jiang Tian and smiled sweetly. Master Kong, Mr. Chow and Mr. Yi are worried that someone here will provoke you, so they sent me here. Thank you. Jiang Tian nodded. In the other police car, there was a woman in a black suit and white shirt. The woman wore big sunglasses, but from her jade-white chin and bright red lips, one could tell that this woman was also a stunning beauty. She looked straight ahead and did not even look at Jiang Tian. She only showed him her police officer badge and introduced herself. Hong Kong Police Department, Senior Inspector of Public Relations Department, Fang Minxia. You don't have to. You are an eyesore if you follow me. Jiang Tian said indifferently. Fang Minxia turned the steering wheel and forced the silver Bentley to stop. Fang Minxia got out of the car quickly and knocked on Jiang Tian's window. Jiang Tian rolled down the window and said indifferently, What? Fang Minxia frowned and said coldly, Mr. Jiang, you and your friends have caused trouble as soon as you arrived in Hong Kong. Do you know that you are in danger now? Police beauty, you worry too much. In Hong Kong, no one can do anything to me. Jiang Tian said indifferently. Do you know who you beat this morning? Fang Minxia said angrily. Xiang Qiangsheng's godson. Jiang Tian laughed. Who does he think he is? Even if Xiang Qiangsheng was here, and dared to clamor with me, I would still slap him. Mr. Jiang, you don't know about Xiang Qiangsheng's influence in Hong Kong. Fang Minxia was stunned at first, then she looked at Jiang Tian with disdain. He controls tens of thousands of members of and society. He has the power to topple mountains and overturn seas. Even my father has to be courteous when he sees him. This man was too ignorant. The ignorant were fearless. Who is your father? Fang Gui, the director of Hong Kong Police Department. Fang Minxia said. What bullshit and society. Ha, the remnants of the Communist Party, the scum of society. Jiang Tian said calmly with a cigarette in his mouth. The Hong Kong Police Department does not crack down on crime, but they are courteous to a gang leader and even warned me, a law-abiding citizen. Don't you think it's ridiculous? If we were in China, we would have already ruled over him. Why would we let him live until now? Gangs run amok and commit murder on the streets. You call Hong Kong the safest city in Asia? What a joke. Chapter 701. It's not that the Hong Kong police don't want to arrest him. Fang Minxia's face turned red, and then she defended herself. If the 80,000 members of the and society cause trouble together, Hong Kong will be in chaos. We once investigated him, but he started a march. 80,000 people. Who can control them? Can you? The more she spoke, the angrier she became. In the end, she shouted with a stern voice, Mr. Jiang, I know you are very strong and have a lot of influence in the mainland, but he is a local tyrant. You don't understand the principle that a strong dragon can't suppress a local tyrant. Even if your body is made of iron, how many nails can you crush? Please don't cause me any more trouble. Enough. Jiang Tian coldly interrupted, if you think I'm suspected of breaking the law, then arrest me. If not, then don't follow me. Mr. Jiang, you don't know the seriousness of this matter. Fang Minxia was angry and anxious as she shouted. Xiang Qiangsheng, is that so great? Originally, I didn't plan to pay attention to such a small character, but after hearing what you said, I really want to torture him. Jiang Tian was too lazy to look at her. He expressionlessly rolled up the window and waved for Zhen Shuai to drive. Fang Minxia angrily got into the police car and said, Miss Xu, isn't this Mr. Jiang too reckless? Inspector Fang, I think you're mistaken. Xu Wei said solemnly, Mr. Jiang is not an ordinary person. He is an important ally of Hua Xia's government. The meaning of the conversation between Beijing and your police department is to remind the local forces of Hong Kong not to provoke him. But you are now warning Mr. Jiang. The Public Relations Department has already warned the and society, but I think it's useless. In Hong Kong, no one dares to provoke the and society. So, we can only persuade Mr. Jiang. Fang Minxia argued and did not back down, do you know? Just now, I received a tip that Mr. Jiang's friend Bai Choufei and Zhang Huchen beat up Kai Xiaofei. He is the nephew of Macau's gambling king. He also has a lot of influence. I won't persuade him. Xu Wei said coldly. Mr. Jiang's ability is not something you can imagine. Not to mention the and club, even if the Lian Gang and the Liansheng Club were to combine forces, they would still not be Mr. Jiang's match. If these young masters of Hong Kong insist on courting death, I'll kill them all. Then let them die. Miss Xu, you're exaggerating. Fang Minxia said with disdain. How much power can a rich second generation from the mainland have? When it comes to wealth, the four great families of Hong Kong and the gambling king of Macau, which mainland person can compare to them? Xu Wei smiled in disdain and couldn't be bothered to explain anything. This group of people added up probably couldn't even compare to a single finger of Jiang Tian's. When Wu Zhirua and Sun Jiaro returned to Man Tingchun Real Estate Marketing Company, they immediately told Luo Ziho everything that had happened. He's crazy. Luo Ziho jumped up from his chair in shock. The Xiang family is the most powerful family in Hong Kong. Didn't Jiang Tian poke a hornet's nest? We can't care about them anymore. Also, you have to tell Uncle Wu to cut ties with them. Don't let the Xiang family find us. He reported the situation to Wu Buxiong. Wu Buxiong was also a little flustered. He hurriedly said, something might happen to Jiang Tian. But we can't just ignore it. How about this? Stay close to Jiang Tian at all times and protect him strictly. Also, I'll see if I can talk to Xiang Qiangsheng. What? Wu Zhirua was going crazy. Daddy, a gentleman doesn't stand under a dangerous wall. Why should we care about him? He's the one who got himself into big trouble. Why should we clean up after him? Zhirua, Jiang Tian will bring you great benefits. Trust your father's judgment. Wu Buxiong immediately called Jiang Tian. Jiang Tian, come to my company. There's a business meeting in the afternoon. Help Zhirua out. Okay, I'll be right there. Jiang Tian didn't know the whole story, but he could only agree to Wu Buxiong's invitation. Dad, are you crazy? It's such an important occasion tonight. Jiang Tian will mess it up. Wu Zhirua was going crazy. She complained to her dad because she wanted to kick Jiang Tian away. She didn't expect her dad to drag Jiang Tian over. After she told Luo Ziho was so angry that he smashed his cup. This guy was simply a jinx. Jiang Tian hurried to the Wu family's man Ting Chun. Wu Buxiong was already waiting. He brought him around the company and chatted with him. Actually, he just wanted Jiang Tian to avoid him. In the afternoon, Luo Ziho and Wu Zhirua were almost done negotiating with a vice president of Yellow River Real Estate. At night, they held a banquet at a high-end club to invite the vice president of Yellow River Real Estate. At this time, Wu Buxiong called Wu Zhirua and Luo Ziho over. Zhirua, take Jiang Tian with you when you eat. I'm already retired. I won't accompany you. Uncle Wu, don't worry. I'll take good care of him. Luo Ziho knew Wu Buxiong was biased towards Jiang Tian, and he was jealous. But he didn't want to appear narrow-minded in front of his elders. That's why he brought Jiang Tian with him. Yellow River Real Estate's vice president Liao was a middle-aged man who looked smart and capable. He had a slim face and a good body shape. His eyes were sharp, and he had a sharp temperament. His shirt was white, and he was wearing a navy blue Armani suit. His trousers were straight, and his shoes were shiny. His Patek Philippe watch was hidden in his sleeves. He looked low-key and tasteful. Yellow River Real Estate was one of the 4 richest families in Hong Kong. The Li family's real estate company was also the head company of the Li Group. Those who were able to become the vice president of such a big company and work for Superman Li and his son were all business elites. When Vice President Liao arrived at the club, he immediately started the banquet. He drank glass after glass of red wine. Vice President Liao was a talkative person. He bragged about his work experience in the US and Europe. However, his boasting didn't leave a trace, and it wasn't annoying. He was more like an honest elder imparting his life experience. He was completely different from Sun Jiaro, who was an idiot. Vice President Liao. Elite. Those who are able to work for Superman Li must be the cream of the crop. Everyone was also flattering him, and President Liao was overjoyed. As for Jiang Tian, Wu Zhirua and Luo Ziho treated him like an invisible person. The banquet was almost finished, and the atmosphere was good. Wu Zhirua took out the contract and said, Vice President Liao, let's sign the contract first, and then we can talk. Zhirua, finish this glass of wine, and let's talk in my car. Vice President Liao passed a glass of red wine to Wu Zhirua. Wu Zhirua was not feeling well. Her body was soft, and she felt hot. She used to be a good drinker. What's wrong with her today? But she had to agree to Vice President Liao's request. After all, the profits from this contract were in the tens of millions, and it could solve the company's problems. Yellow River Real Estate was also a big client. Then I will accept your offer. Wu Zhihua smiled sweetly, took the wine cup, and was about to drink it. Suddenly, a hand reached over and took the glass away from Vice President Liao and splashed it on his face. What are you doing? With a face full of red wine, Manager Liao stood up abruptly and pointed at Jiang Tian as he furiously shouted. Jiang Tian, what's wrong with you? Wu Zhihua's face turned green. From her point of view, Jiang Tian's actions were brainless and unreasonable. Jiang Tian, apologize to Vice President Liao now. Luo Ziho jumped up in shock. Vice President Liao was Superman Li's right-hand man, and he was highly regarded. He was in charge of more than 1 billion in real estate contracts every year. If Vice President Liao had a good impression of him, the Wu and Luo families would benefit greatly, and their companies would be revived. Wu Zhihua and Luo Ziho had spent a lot of effort to get close to Vice President Liao. But now, everything was ruined by Jiang Tian. Mr. Jiang, do you know who Vice President Liao is? How dare you offend him? One of Man Tingchuan's department heads stood up and pointed at Jiang Tian. It's over. It's over. Why is there such a lunatic here? It's all over now. One of Man Tingchuan's vice president exclaimed. He was sweating profusely. In order to get close to Vice President Liao, he had spent millions of Hong Kong dollars just to invite him to the yacht and golf. Why are you so blind? Apologize to Vice President Liao now. Do you know how important Vice President Liao's contract is to the company? How dare you be so rude? Some of the female staff were so angry that their faces turned green. Some of the staff members' eyes were red. In order to come up with the marketing plan, dozens of staff members worked overtime for more than 10 days without rest. How much effort did they put in? Now, look at what happened. Jiang Tian's splashing of a cup of wine made Director Liao furious. All his previous efforts had gone to waste. For a moment, everyone in the room was pointing at Jiang Tian. They were angry, mocking, and despising him. It was as if Jiang Tian was a brainless idiot who didn't know when to back down, bringing endless trouble to the company and the Wu family. On the other hand, Jiang Tian sat there calmly and smiled. Who does he think he is? How dare he ask me to apologize to him? How dare you? Vice President Liao was shaking with anger. He glared at Jiang Tian and shouted, "You are the first person who dared to splash wine on me in Hong Kong." He looked at Wu Zhihua coldly and said, "Vice President Wu, I can't believe your staff was so disrespectful to me. I seriously doubt your sincerity. What's the point of talking about the contract?" After that, he stormed out of the room. Vice President Liao, please wait. He is not an employee of our company. Luo Ziho held him back and begged. He was so anxious that cold sweat broke out on his forehead. Wu Zhihua also tried to persuade him to stay. Vice President Liao, please calm down. I will make him apologize to you. At that moment, she hated Jiang Tian to the core. She had always hated Jiang Tian's pretentiousness. He didn't expect Jiang Tian to go from bad to worse. He actually dared to offend Chairman Liao and ruined his big order. Sure, but he has to kneel down and apologize to me. Vice President Liao stopped in his tracks and took a wet towel to wipe the wine off his face. He glared at Jiang Tian and said, "If this kid doesn't kneel down and apologize to me, I promise you that as long as I am in Yellow River, you will never get a single cent from Yellow River." He put his hands in his pockets and looked down at Jiang Tian like an emperor. He said without hesitation, "Don't worry, Jiang Tian. If he doesn't kneel down and apologize to me, I promise you that as long as I am in Hong Kong, you will never get a single contract from any real estate company in Hong Kong." Chapter 702. Mr. Liao was not exaggerating. Yellow River Real Estate was one of the top real estate companies in Hong Kong. Mr. Liao had a lot of connections in the industry. It was a piece of cake for him to cut off Man Tingchuan's livelihood. Slap. What he got in response was a clean slap across his face. Get lost. After slapping Mr. Liao, Jiang Tian wiped his hands with a wet towel as if slapping Mr. Liao would dirty his hands. This slap left everyone dumbfounded and at a loss of what to do. Wu Zhihua could not believe her eyes. Luo Ziho's mouth was wide open and his eyes were twitching. Everyone else felt like they were in a dream. Not only did Chen Fan splash wine, he even slapped Mr. Liao. Mr. Liao was the infamous Mr. Liao. Mr. Liao touched his own face. He could not believe what had just happened. Shortly after, a wave of anger enveloped his face. He was so angry that the veins on his forehead bulged. He pointed at Jiang Tian and fiercely said, "Good. Very good. How dare you hit me? Fuck you, I promise you that the Wu family will not survive in Hong Kong." Then, he opened the door and stormed out. Even the gentle and refined President Liao, who had graduated from Princeton, exploded in anger. It could be seen how angry he was. After Mr. Liao left, the entire room was dead silent. The atmosphere seemed to have frozen. Everyone's faces were filled with despair. After a while, Wu Zhihua's eyes turned red. She waved her hands and screamed hysterically, "Jiang Tian, what do you want? Do you have a brain? Do you want to destroy the Wu family? What do I have to do with you? Why do you have to do this to me? Man Tingchun is in a precarious situation right now. If we don't get this deal, the company will be finished." Jiang Tian did not say a word. He shook his head and took out his phone to send a text message. There was something wrong with the wine. Mr. Liao asked Wu Zhihua to go to the car. Although Jiang Tian did not like Wu Zhihua, he had to repay Wu Buxiong's kindness. Therefore, he could not ignore the situation. After all, if something happened to his beloved daughter, Uncle Wu would definitely not be able to take the blow. However, Jiang Tian was too lazy to explain too much. It didn't matter how much Wu Zhihua misunderstood him. He would leave after repaying his gratitude. However, in Luo Ziho's view, Jiang Tian's expression meant that he was speechless. Although Man Tingchun would suffer losses, the Luo family would also suffer a certain amount of losses, but it would not be a serious blow. Therefore, at this moment, Luo Ziho's schadenfreude was probably unnecessary. He snorted with disdain. "Jiang Tian, oh Jiang Tian, Uncle Wu thinks so highly of you. Is this what you want to bring to the Wu family? Contract voided, enemies on all sides, and the company closed down? Jiang Tian, you're really something. You're really capable. I've seen it all today. It's over. I've worked for nothing for the past few months. My bonus is gone." "Bonus? I think we can't even get our salaries paid. Yeah, it's over. The company is over. It's all messed up by this brat. He doesn't have a brain at all." The other executives and employees were also full of hatred. They all mocked and scolded Jiang Tian, wishing they could skin him alive. At this moment, Jiang Tian smiled indifferently. "What are you nervous about? It's just a contract worth tens of millions, Jiang Tian, you're really arrogant." Wu Zhihua could not bear to listen anymore. She abruptly interrupted. "A contract worth tens of millions. Bring me one." Luo Ziho also mocked at the side. "Yes, yes, yes. Young Master Jiang, you're awesome, rich, and willful. You're really capable. You're really resourceful. Since young Master Jiang is so capable, why don't you bring me a contract? Zhihua, don't worry. Don't you want a contract?" Jiang Tian sipped his tea slowly and said with a faint smile, "That's right. A contract worth hundreds of millions. I'll bring it to you in minutes. Also, that Mr. Liao will be back soon. And I'll make Mr. Liao kowtow to everyone and apologize." What the hell? Where did this weirdo come from? Who is Mr. Liao? He's Li Zhikai's right-hand man. How dare you make him kowtow to you? Are you kidding me? Full of nonsense. Is this guy a lunatic? Everyone facepalmed. They were so angry at Jiang Tian that they were speechless. Yes, he must be crazy. Wu Jiruo's heart skipped a beat. Jiang Tian had been crazy for a period of time. Later, she heard that he was cured. Could it have relapsed? Yes, it must be so. Otherwise, why would he keep talking nonsense along the way and even hit Mr. Liao now? This kind of crazy person's brain circuit is especially strange. It can't be understood with common sense. There's no way to communicate with him. But, I'm dead because of him. Even if I explain to Mr. Liao, he might not believe me. Just as Wu Jiruo was about to scold Jiang Tian, suddenly, the door of the private room was pushed open from the outside. A young man with an elegant demeanor walked in. Behind him was a tall girl in an evening gown. It was the little witch, Su Zixuan. The young man was wearing a pair of gold-rimmed glasses. He looked elegant, handsome, and gentle. He had an air of nobility about him. This kind of temperament could only be cultivated through years of elite education and living in a wealthy family. Most people could not fake it even if they wanted to. Compared to him, Luo Ziho was like a country bumpkin from the village, dwarfed by him. Li Zhikai. Young Master Li, why are you here? We are doomed. Mr. Liao has called for reinforcements. Seeing him come over, everyone stood up one after another. Their hearts were thumping, and their expressions changed drastically. Li Zhikai. The beloved son of Superman Li, the future leader of the Li family, one of the top 10 Chinese youths in the world, and one of the top 2 young masters in Hong Kong. Superman Li's family was a real tycoon. They had been in power for decades. It could be said that they were one of the wealthiest families in the Chinese community. They had topped the Forbes list of Chinese billionaires several times. As the only heir, Li Zhikai could represent the Li family. When he went to China, he was usually received by the leaders of the country. In Hong Kong, he could drink and chat with the governor of Hong Kong and the chief executive of Hong Kong. Although the Wu family and Luo family had some assets, they were nothing compared to Superman Li and Li Zhikai. They were like chickens that had seen a phoenix. Jiang Tian, you've killed me this time. Hurry up and apologize to Director Liao. Wu Jiruo stomped her feet and was about to cry. She saw Mr. Liao following behind Li Zhikai. He must have asked Li Zhikai to put pressure on the Wu family. That was too scary. After all, Mr. Liao could only represent the Yellow River, but Li Zhikai could represent the entire Li family. He was like a noble descendant of the heavens. With a single word, he had the power to destroy everything in his path. He could definitely crush the Wu clan into smithereens. Young Master Li, I am so sorry. I didn't expect you to come. Luo Ziho, on the other hand, was like a loyal dog that was wagging its tail and begging for mercy. Then, he turned his head to look at Jiang Tian and sternly reprimanded him. Jiang Tian, what are you waiting for? Kneel down and apologize to Mr. Liao. Even Li Zhikai is here. He won't be able to withstand the pressure. He will definitely kneel down to Mr. Liao. Sigh. If I had known this would happen, I wouldn't have done it. This is the consequence of being arrogant. Many people in the room thought that Jiang Tian was dead meat this time. However, an inconceivable scene suddenly appeared. Boss Liao suddenly jumped out like a ferocious tiger, slapped Luo Ziho's face and said angrily, "Shut up, Luo Ziho. Do you want to kill me? Mr. Liao, what are you doing? Aren't I speaking up for you?" Luo Ziho's nose was bleeding and he almost fell to the ground. He looked at Mr. Liao in disbelief. What, Master Kong? Why did he hit Mr. Luo? He is targeting the wrong person. What is Mr. Liao trying to do? Everyone was also stunned and looked at Chairman Liao in disbelief. Their faces were filled with astonishment and confusion. But what happened next was even more shocking. Li Zhikai quickly walked to the front of Jiang Tian, lowered his noble head deeply, bent his waist almost to the ground, and said with the most respectful tone in his life, "Li Zhikai greets Master Kong." What? Master Kong. Everyone looked at Li Zhikai, who was standing in front of Jiang Tian as if he was the most loyal believer in the presence of God. Did I make a mistake? Wu Jiruo's eyes were wide open. She couldn't believe what she saw. She looked at Jiang Tian again for the first time. What kind of person was Li Zhikai? He was actually so respectful to Jiang Tian, a country bumpkin from the mainland. It was unbelievable. What was Jiang Tian's background? What was he capable of? How is this possible? Luo Ziho was also shocked. He couldn't believe it. Originally, he thought that Jiang Tian was a country bumpkin from the mainland and was penniless, but he did not expect that he could make Li Zhikai bow his head obediently. Jiang Tian sat on the chair and slowly peeled the grape skin. After peeling the skin, he raised his head and faintly said, "Get up." Li Zhikai ignored everyone's shocked gaze, as if it was natural for him to lower his head to Jiang Tian. He looked at President Liao and scolded, "Bastard, kneel down." Mr. Liao was so scared that his whole body quivered and he immediately knelt down. Slap him. Li Zhikai was neither lukewarm nor angry, but there was a sense of prestige without being angry. Pa 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 pa. The crisp sound of the slap echoed in the silent room, bombarding everyone's fragile nerves. Under the incredulous gazes of the crowd, Mr. Liao actually started slapping himself. He did not hold back at all, as if that face was not his, but someone else's. But Li Zhikai was still not satisfied. He raised his eyebrows and said lightly, "Didn't you eat? You guys help him." 3 burly black bodyguards walked in. They looked like boxers or mercenaries. 2 of them held President Liao, while the other one swung his arm and slapped President Liao's face. Pa! With this slap, President Liao's jaw was immediately dislocated, and his cheek swelled like a bun. Pa pa! Pa pa pa! The burly man swung his arm and kept slapping. In the blink of an eye, President Liao's face became swollen, and the bodyguards did not intend to stop. What an honor to be able to work with Master Kang's friend. Li Zhikai's gaze was sharp, and he scolded sternly. But you dog, you don't recognize the real person, you have eyes but fail to see. How dare you bark and threaten in front of Master Kang? Not only did you embarrass our Li family, you also offended Master Kang. Do you know that Master Kang is our Li family's benefactor? What? Everyone was shocked again, and they could not believe it. They looked at Jiang Tian in horror. Chapter 703. Everyone was very uneasy. They had just mocked Jiang Tian. If Jiang Tian was angry, how could they survive? Li Zhikai bowed to Jiang Tian again. A cold murderous intent flashed across his face as he said in a low voice, "Master Kang, if you are not satisfied, I can make him disappear from this world completely. He is going to kill someone." Everyone was so scared that their hair stood on end and cold sweat poured down their backs. They had never seen Li Zhikai kill so decisively, so ruthlessly and viciously. After all, in front of the media and in front of the public, Li Zhikai had always been gentle and elegant, like a fine young master in a chaotic world. "Grandmaster Jiang, I know I was wrong. I beg you to forgive me and let me off." Mr. Liao was even more scared. He was so scared that he wet his pants. He kowtowed and screamed. "Ask him to leave." Jiang Tian waved his hand casually as if he was shooing away a fly. He was too lazy to argue with such a small character. It was too embarrassing. After receiving Li Zhikai's signal, an assistant respectfully placed a contract on the table and slowly left. Wu Zhirua picked up the contract and looked at it. She was stunned and couldn't believe it. It was a strategic cooperation agreement that would last for 10 years. The contract was 10 times the original amount. The sales of all the real estate projects under Yellow River Real Estate would be handled by the Wu family. Moreover, the benefits were great and the conditions were generous. It could be said that the Wu family could earn 200 to 300 million in a year. Li Shikai said with a joyful smile, Master Kong, this is the cooperation plan with the Wu family. Consider it a token of our gratitude to Master Kong from the Li family. There was even a trace of fear in his eyes. His hands were even trembling slightly. Others didn't know, but Li Shikai had heard about Master Kang's great achievements from Superman Li. He was number 1 on the global strong ranking. He dominated the martial arts of Huaxia. He was invincible and suppressed half of the hidden Wudang sect. He was known as Jiang Dixian. He fought in Japan, hunted in France, and single-handedly turned Sidonie into the 6th most powerful country in the world, known as Jiang Lai Nation. Such an expert was like a god, controlling life and death, and following his heart. His friends, disciples, and students all benefited from his blessings and became more prosperous with each passing day. Their futures were bright. All those who offended him were crushed into pieces. They were defeated like a landslide, and their fates were miserable. There was absolutely no good ending for them. Since they returned from Wudang, Superman Li and his son had been trying their best to get on Jiang Tian's good side through Su Maozhai. But Su Maozhai was only at the periphery of Jiang Tian's camp. He had no say in this. This made Superman Li and his son anxious. This morning, Su Zixian called and said that Master Kong could come to Hong Kong to meet Li Shikai. To Li Shikai, this was simply a blessing from the heavens. How could Li Shikai let go of such a good opportunity? In the afternoon, he waited at this clubhouse, but he didn't expect that Mr. Liao would make such a big mistake and offend Master Kong and his friends. At this time, Li Shikai was really scared. He was afraid that Jiang Tian would kill him if he didn't agree with him. After all, Jiang Tian was someone who could easily kill Gong Yao of the 9-story pagoda and Chen Amping of Wudang sect. Wu Zhirua was stunned again. She couldn't help but remember that Jiang Tian said that he would introduce Superman Li and Li Shikai to him. She also remembered that Jiang Tian said that Mr. Liao would come over to apologize and that there would be a big contract. But she didn't believe him at that time. She only thought that Jiang Tian was bragging to attract her attention. She even thought that he was crazy. But now, Wu Zhirua only felt that her pretty face had been slapped until it was completely red. She even felt that her cheeks were swollen. Young Master Li, you must be mistaken. Luo Ziho thought that Li Shikai had misunderstood and quickly went forward to say, What Master Kong? His name is Jiang Tian, a mainlander from Jinling. He doesn't know anything. It seems that Luo Ziho and Wu Zhirua don't know Master Kang's strength and seem to dislike him. They are blind. I originally wanted to help the Wu family and Luo family so that I can ride on Master Kang's coattails. But now, it seems that I have to know my limits. Li Shikai's eyes flashed with a hint of mockery, but he didn't say anything. Instead, he smiled and said, Master Kong, my father had invited you several times through Master Su Maozhai. But you were busy and didn't have the chance to meet you. Now that you have finally set foot in Hong Kong, please do me the honor and stay at the Li family for a few days. Let us show our filial piety. After he said that, Wu Zhirua was so shocked that she was dumbfounded. Her hands trembled slightly. Listening to what he said, not only did Jiang Tian know Superman Li, but Superman Li also treated him with respect. He wasn't bragging at all. It was me who looked down on Superman Li and Jiang Tian. Meanwhile, Luo Ziho finally realized Jiang Tian's terrifying strength, and his face instantly flushed red. It seemed that Superman Li had known Jiang Tian for a long time. He knew him very well. Li Shikai didn't misunderstand him. But I still looked down on him and treated him like a country bumpkin. I was blind. I appreciate your kindness, but it's not necessary. I still have a few friends to accompany. Jiang Tian finally showed a faint smile on his face. Li Shikai saw this and secretly heaved a sigh of relief. The heavy burden on his heart was lifted. Master Kong smiled. He finally smiled. Great. That's great. This means that at least Master Kong won't make things difficult for the Li family because of Mr. Liao's matter. The Li family is saved. Master Kong, in a few days, the Li family and China Joint Office will be holding a Lantern Festival charity dinner. We will be inviting all the tycoons and celebrities from both sides of the Taiwan Strait. Please come. Li Zhikai gained a little more courage. Once again, his face was full of joy as he earnestly pleaded. Jiang Tian, go. Bring me along too. Wu Zhirua looked at Jiang Tian and said earnestly. Huaxia is a social society, and it is important to make connections. If you can make connections with a heavyweight like Superman Li, you will benefit from it for the rest of your life. Jiang Tian smiled noncommittally. The Li family is so calculative. China Joint Office is the representative office of Huaxia's central government in Hong Kong. The Li family is holding a Lantern Festival charity dinner with them and invited Feng Yu to attend. This is because they want Feng Yu to endorse the Li family and show the other influential people that the Li family has a good relationship with the central government. However, if Chen Zhenming wants to expand his business in Hong Kong, he will need the cooperation of these influential people. We'll see. If I have time, I will go. Thinking up to this point, Jiang Tian did not reject him directly and gave him some uncertain information. Good, good, good. It will be the Li family's honor. Li Zhikai was overjoyed. He glanced at everyone and said, Master Kong, have a good time with your friends. I won't disturb you anymore. I will take my leave now. Li Zhikai left with his people. Everyone in the room was silent for a long time. Everyone was embarrassed. After all, they had humiliated Jiang Tian for a long time. In the end, not only did Jiang Tian get the contract back, it was a big contract with several times the profit. Jiang Tian, thank you. Tonight. Finally, Wu Zhirua broke the silence and wanted to apologize for her rude behavior. But at this time, Jiang Tian looked at his phone. Something seemed to have happened on Zhen Shuai's side. His face darkened, and he immediately stood up and said, I still have something to do. I won't accompany you. He lifted his foot and left. Master Kong, I'll send you off. Su Zixuan quickly followed. No need. Jiang Tian waved his hand and quickly disappeared into the night. Seeing Jiang Tian leave and ignore her, Wu Zhirua was a little annoyed. Why was he so arrogant? Didn't he just help me get a contract? However, she was very curious about Jiang Tian. She pulled the little witch Su Zixuan and asked, Miss Su, what is Jiang Tian's background? Even Li Zhikai respects him so much. By the way, I apologize on his behalf for offending Master Su Maozhai with his words. He is very vain and reckless. He is always aggressive and doesn't know the immensity of heaven and earth. Su Zixuan originally wanted to talk to Wu Zhirua. After all, the Wu family and the Jiang family had been friends for generations. But at this time, she couldn't help but feel disgusted with her. Just because Master Kong saved your father's life, just because he saved you and helped you today, you shouldn't slander him so harshly. This woman looked like she was full of jewels, but she was too snobbish and not worth being friends with. It was better to stay away from her. Master Kong is an extraordinary person. I hope you respect him and cherish this friendship. Otherwise, you will regret it. Su Zixuan's smile gradually faded, and she quickly left. I'm sorry, I still have something to do. Goodbye. Extraordinary person. Wu Zhirua was stunned, and her heart moved. So Jiang Tian should be the same as Su Zixuan, a feng shui master or something. Yes. He forced out a black gas from father's body. He must be a feng shui master. In Hong Kong, feng shui was very popular. Many rich and famous people worshipped people in feng shui. If Jiang Tian learned some feng shui by chance, it was possible to make Superman Li's family respect him. But unfortunately, this respect was only on the surface. Just like in ancient times, Meng Changjun had 3,000 customers, and even the crows of chickens and dogs would be friends with him. Therefore, Jiang Tian still couldn't be compared to the real young masters of rich and powerful families. He was just someone's lackey. If he had no value, the Li family would immediately abandon Jiang Tian cruelly. A feng shui master, and you think you can use a chicken feather as an arrow? You think too highly of yourself. Wu Zhirua snorted and looked at Jiang Tian with disdain. Others gave you face, and you just accepted it. You really let Li Zhikai hit you. You don't know the immensity of heaven and earth. Even if you have some ability, how can you go far? Luo Ziho, you are too useless. You actually got slapped. If this spreads out, won't I be embarrassed to death? At this time, Wu Zhirua was also a bit disappointed with Luo Ziho. He was slapped by Chairman Liao, but he did not dare to fight back. He was too weak. And Chairman Liao's identity was just a high-ranking henchman of the Li family. Seems like Luo Ziho was not comparable to the real rich families. Zhirua, the situation is forcing me. In Hong Kong, whoever had the money would have the right to do so. I am not doing this for the company. Luo Ziho's face froze when he heard what Wu Zhirua said. He was a bit annoyed, and he was also jealous of Jiang Tian. Today, when compared to Jiang Tian, he looked like a fool. Maybe Wu Zhirua had a good impression of Jiang Tian. No. I cannot let this matter rest. I must find a chance to make Jiang Tian lose face in front of Wu Zhirua. Chapter 704. On the other hand, Jiang Tian returned to the Peninsula Hotel to meet up with Zhen Shuai and the rest. In the room, apart from Jiang Tian and his buddies, there were also several Hong Kong police officers such as Xu Wei and Fang Minxia. What's going on? Seeing that Zhen Shuai seemed a little uneasy, Jiang Tian asked. I received a few threatening phone calls, saying that they wanted to kill me. They said that I touched some woman that I shouldn't have. Zhen Shuai smiled and said, isn't that funny? I didn't molest her, nor did I force her. Why shouldn't I? Mr. Jiang, you saw it. This is the consequence of offending in society. I advise you to apologize to them. Fang Minxia said. Officer Fang, are you crazy? Jiang Chao slammed the table and roared, black organizations threaten good citizens and ask us to apologize. Shouldn't you be the one who arrested them? They don't admit that they made the threatening phone calls. Fang Minxia retorted angrily, besides, we don't have any evidence. What can I do? Maybe it really wasn't in society. Zhen Shuai, you didn't sleep with Xiang Qiangsheng's mother. Jiang Tian shook his head and said lightly, however, Officer Fang, help me warn Xiang Qiangsheng from Sun Yihen. If he's the one making trouble, come over and kneel before my buddies and apologize. Fang Minxia looked at Jiang Tian as if he was crazy and said sarcastically, Mr. Jiang, do you know what you're talking about? In Hong Kong, who can make Xiang Qiangsheng apologize and kneel? You don't know your place. Hearing this, Zhen Shuai and the rest were a little annoyed and glared at Fang Minxia. Of course I know what I'm talking about. Jiang Tian said lazily. He had already sentenced Xiang Qiangsheng to death in his heart. Jiang Chao said angrily, and you, Fang Minxia, I hate you very much. If you can't protect my friends, then get lost. Don't follow us, it's annoying. Yeah, we wanted to invite a few local girls tonight, but the police are here. We're embarrassed. Zhen Shuai shook his head and said. Dirty. Disgusting. Fang Minxia was so angry that she left. I really don't want to bother with you guys anymore, you really don't know what is good for you. Fighting with Xiang Changsheng, you really don't know the immensity of heaven and earth. If you want to die, then go ahead. The next day. Just as Jiang Tian woke up, Zhen Shuai and a few of his little brothers ran over and asked, Brother Tian, what's the activity today? Jiang Tian said solemnly, next, we're going to complete a political mission. What? political mission. The old master ordered me to do so. I have to do it. Grandpa Changgang? Everyone asked. Jiang Tian nodded. Didn't he set up a charity fund? One of the projects was to help the veterans of the anti-Japanese war, the War of Resistance, the War of Resistance, and the War of Aggression against Vietnam. It includes living allowance, medical treatment, and an activity. What? Veteran Tour. Jiang Tian sighed. These veterans have shed their blood for the motherland and the people. But some of them don't have a good life, and they might not have even been to Hong Kong, Macau, or Taiwan in their entire lives. Therefore, the foundation organized them to walk around and see the prosperity and achievements of their motherland. At present, a group of veterans has arrived at Hong Kong's airport. I'll go and pick them up. I don't want to go. I want to go to Macau's casino. What's so fun about those old grandpas? Zhen Shuai was reluctant. Young Master Jiang has spoken. Are you qualified to suggest anything? If you have any opinions, keep them to yourself. Jiang Chao slapped him on the head. Go. These veterans are all heroes. It's very meaningful for us to accompany them. Cheng Yi said. In that case, I won't trouble you to pick them up. I'll go personally. You can accompany them during the afternoon tour. Accept the education of patriotism. Jiang Tian quickly finalized, drove a business car, and rushed to Hong Kong's international airport. On the way, Jiang Tian received a call from Wu Zhirua. Jiang Tian, where are you today? I'll accompany you. I'm afraid I don't have time. I have a few important guests from the mainland to receive. Jiang Tian shook his head. He wanted to repay the Wu family's kindness. This was morality. However, it was obvious that Wu Zhirua was prejudiced against him. Jiang Tian couldn't be bothered to pay attention to her. Later, he would give her $1 billion or so, and that would be the best he could do. Guests. Wu Zhirua sneered. If it wasn't for my father forcing me to accompany you, I wouldn't have bothered with you. However, her heart suddenly skipped a beat. Although Jiang Tian was just an eccentric in the world of feng shui, he must know a lot of important people. She might be able to get to know some rich people through Jiang Tian. Jiang Tian also said that it was an important guest. It must be Jiang Tian's big backer in the mainland. She quickly changed the topic and said enthusiastically, Jiang Tian, I'll accompany you. After all, I grew up in Hong Kong. I can be your tour guide. Also, this is my father's idea. If you don't let me accompany you, I'll complain. Then let's meet at Hong Kong's international airport. Hearing her words, Jiang Tian could not refuse. If Uncle Wu knew that he and Wu Zhirua did not get along well, he would not feel good. In the airport lobby, Wu Zhirua, Sun Jiaro, and Luo Ziho hurried to meet Jiang Tian. Wu Zhirua seemed to have dressed up today. She wore a short suit, a snow-white shirt, and a short skirt that revealed her slender legs. She was dressed like a beauty in the workplace. Her makeup was exquisite and glamorous. She wore teardrop-shaped diamond-studded earrings and 8-centimeter high heels, which made her 1.75-meter body look curvy. She stood out from the crowd and attracted everyone's attention. Luo Ziho was also dressed in a tailored Armani suit. He looked well-dressed and had an extraordinary aura. Sun Jiaro was also dressed like a cute girl, but she was also wearing branded clothes. She was very outstanding. Compared to the three of them, Jiang Tian was dressed casually and simply. He looked out of place in the luxurious airport. Jiang Tian, thank you so much for yesterday. Wu Zhirua suppressed the disgust in her heart. She held Jiang Tian's arm and smiled sweetly. Of course, his attitude toward Jiang Tian had not changed. He just wanted to use this opportunity to get to know Jiang Tian's big backer in China. You're welcome. It's nothing. Jiang Tian said casually. Young Master Jiang, I'm really sorry about yesterday. I was worried that you would offend Mr. Liao. It was all out of kindness. Luo Ziho stepped forward and apologized with a smile. However, deep in his eyes, there was a flash of fierceness and jealousy. What was Wu Zhirua doing? How could she hold his arm? She had never been so affectionate with him. Jiang Tian nodded slightly. Jiang Tian did not care about those irrelevant people. Looking at the timetable, the flight had arrived. But after waiting for half an hour, the guests still did not come down. Jiang Tian, what kind of guests are you welcoming this time? He must be a big shot. Wu Zhirua said impatiently with a faint smile. They are the guardians of Huaxia, the heroes of the nation, and the most respectable people. Jiang Tian said solemnly. What are you bragging about? Sun Jiaro smiled disdainfully. Don't tell me they are the founding fathers of China. Wu Zhirua and Luo Ziho looked at each other and saw the anticipation in each other's eyes. They waited for another 10 minutes. A total of 11 old men walked out of the airport passageway with the help of a few staff members and arrived late. They wore the same small yellow caps, but most of them were wearing old military uniforms and carrying a flat military water bottle. If one looked closely, some of them were captured trophies of the American and Japanese forces. Most of them seemed to be very poor. Their hands were rough and cracked. They were probably doing manual labor. Some of them even wore outdated green shoes and old cloth shoes. A few of them were disabled. Those with broken legs had prosthetics and crutches. Those with broken arms had empty sleeves. Some of them were even in wheelchairs. They looked like country bumpkins entering a city. Their eyes were filled with nervousness, excitement, joy, and curiosity as they looked around. Blackhead, are you blind? Follow me. Why are you going to the ladies' room? The leader of the group was a relatively healthy old man. He carried a small red flag and walked as valiantly as possible to attract everyone's attention. There were a few words written on the red flag. Veterans Worldwide Tour Group. They are coming. Jiang Tian's face lit up and he hurried to greet them. Are they Jiang Tian's guests? They are a bunch of old men with no status, and no ability. Wu Zhirua and Luo Ziho stood still in the distance. They looked at each other with disappointment written all over their faces. Isn't Jiang Tian wasting our time? What's there to accompany a bunch of old men? He is bragging again. Sun Jiaro stomped her feet and gnashed her teeth in anger. Xiao Yuan, how come it is you? Jiang Tian asked in surprise when he saw that the leader was Yuan Kursen. I was wondering why Grandpa Chungang said that there would be a surprise for me. So the surprise is that you are in Hong Kong. Yuan Kursen didn't expect to meet Jiang Tian here. She ran over with a surprised face and said with a smile, Humph, now that Sidoni's medical conditions are so good, I have no place to show my skills. Has your medical aid team been disbanded? Where is Zhu Jiangchao? Jiang Tian asked with a smile. Yes, it has been disbanded. Zhu Jiangchao is now working in Sidoni's Ministry of Health. You are so cool. You don't even know this. Yuan Kursen said with a smile. Of course, she knew about Jiang Tian's lofty status and terrifying strength. However, she felt that Jiang Tian was not an unapproachable person. Most of the time, he was very easygoing. Jiang Tian smiled. There were hundreds of officials in Sidoni's cabinet, not to mention the various ministries and commissions. How could he know all of them? Yuan Kursen said again, Grandpa Chungang thought that I did a good job in the medical aid team. Since the Veterans Charity Project was launched, he suggested that I work here. So I came. Then let's get in the car quickly. The veterans must be tired. Jiang Tian patted her shoulder and said with a smile, in the next few days, they will be the main characters. In the next few days, they are the main characters. Our mission is to make them happy, serve them well, and keep them company. Chapter 705. Hey, you're a godlike person. You know how to serve people. I don't believe it. Yuan Kursen looked at Jiang Tian mockingly and smiled mischievously. I know how to treat illnesses. If the old men have any difficult illnesses later, I'll treat them. Jiang Tian smiled. Soon, Jiang Tian, Yuan Kursen, and the others hurriedly helped the veterans into the car. As for Wu Jirua and the other two, they did not do anything from the beginning to the end. Some of these veterans were disabled and had difficulty moving. They were dressed shabbily and cowardly. Some had the sequelae of a stroke. Their mouths were crooked and their eyes were slanted. They were even drooling and wearing bibs. It was disgusting. If they wanted to dirty their branded clothes, they would have to throw them away. Jiang Tian, these people are. Wu Jirua followed Jiang Tian and asked when they were about to set off. They are our benefactors, our backers, and our precious wealth. Jiang Tian said without thinking. These veterans had fought bloody battles and braved the rain of bullets to protect Huaxia. They could be said to be the benefactors of every Huaxia people. The patriotism of the veterans could also be said to be the backbone and most precious spiritual wealth of the Huaxia people. These old men look like ordinary people at first glance, and they are even very poor. But they are the benefactors and backers of the Jiang family. They can actually help the Jiang family. It seems that the Jiang family is getting worse and worse. Wu Jirua immediately despised Jiang Tian in her heart. It seems that Jiang Tian is not doing well in the mainland. I don't know how he tricked Li Shikai. It seems that I really overestimated him yesterday. Let's not talk about Jiang Tian anymore, right? It's a complete waste of time. Sun Jiaro said with disdain, I've said it before. Jiang Tian is just a loser. He has no ability. Forget it. Since we're here, let's accompany them. Wu Jirua was also very disappointed. She covered her mouth with her hand and yawned, saying listlessly. Jiang Tian, I know a restaurant that specializes in Cantonese cuisine. It was very suitable for these old people's tastes. I'll take you there. At this time, Luo Ziho's eyes suddenly flashed with a trace of ruthlessness. He moved closer to Jiang Tian and suggested with a smile. Okay. Jiang Tian nodded with an indifferent attitude. Lan Fengyuan restaurant in Kowloon was a famous restaurant in Hong Kong. This restaurant was located in a crowded area. Business was good, and the daily turnover was in the millions. At the entrance of the dining hall, Luo Ziho answered a phone call and then pretended to apologize. Jiang Tian, I'm really sorry. I have an important client to attend to. I'm afraid I don't have time to accompany you. Help yourself. Jiang Tian nodded. Jirua, come with me. Luo Ziho glanced at Wu Jirua and Sun Jiaro. I still have a few words to say to Jiang Tian, so I'll accompany him. Wu Jirua pulled Luo Ziho to the side. Luo Ziho suddenly became anxious. Jirua, he's already married. You can't really, what are you thinking about? Even if he's not married, why would I fall for a loser like him? Wu Jirua smiled disdainfully. I'm staying to make it clear to him. Don't let him pester me anymore. If he wants to take advantage of me, I'll give him 1 or 2 million. Well, okay. Go ahead. Luo Ziho's face lit up. It's my honor to have a meal with these big shots. Sun Jiaro rolled her eyes and laughed coquettishly. She didn't want to have a meal with Jiang Tian. These old people were disgusting. However, he would properly pressure Jiang Tian later and see how he would explain himself. Seeing Jiang Tian and the others enter the private room, Luo Ziho's face flashed with a hint of cunning. He entered the elevator and went upstairs to the general manager's office. Young Master Luo, I saw you just now. I was about to go downstairs to say hello. I didn't expect you to come up first. The restaurant's general manager was dressed luxuriously. He was fair and plump, but he gave people a sense of treachery. He sat behind the luxurious desk with his legs crossed and said with a chuckle, "You're right. Why are you eating in my restaurant? Are those people your friends? If so, I'll serve you real wine." Friends? Fuck them. Luo Ziho sat down, picked up the cigar on the table, lit it, and cursed. These bumpkins from the mainland don't know the immensity of heaven and earth. They even pursued Wu Jirua before. These days, they've been going against me. Today, you have to make them pay. Ha, looks like they're not friends, but enemies. The restaurant's owner, Zhou Yulang, was overjoyed. He slapped his thigh and laughed. "Don't worry, young Master Luo. I promise to take care of them. My restaurant has always been a place to bully the mainland people. Also, wasn't Jie Zai beaten up in the Bauhinia Square yesterday? It was this Jiang Tian who did it." Luo Ziho's face suddenly turned ruthless and said coldly, "I'll go against his lungs. There's a road to heaven, but he doesn't take it. There's no door to hell, but he still barges in." Zhou Yolang's fat face was full of killing intent and coldness. He didn't look like a legitimate businessman, but a ruthless person. In fact, he was really a ruthless person. He was originally a member of the Yi-En Society and ran a lot of illegal businesses. Zhou Yulang grinned and said, after Jie Zai was beaten up, his father, the tiger of Wanchai, Qin Yaoxing, was very angry. Even Boss Xiang was alerted and issued a kill order to find these mainlanders. But he couldn't find them. "I didn't expect you to send them here. I owe you for this. Thank you. Don't worry, the Yi-En Society won't treat you badly. If you need any help, just ask. We're good brothers, there's no need to be so polite. If there's a chance, introduce me to young Master Xiang." A trace of pleading appeared on Luo Ziho's face. The so-called young Master Xiang was the crown prince of the Yi-En Society, Xiang Qian. Although Xiang Qian's wealth and status were lower than Li Zhikai, Xiao Yunhao and the other 4 young masters of Hong Kong, he could only be considered as a second or third young master. But he had the backing of a society and was also a person who knew everything. Of course, a 4th or 5th young master like Luo Ziho wanted to know him. "Okay, I'll do my best." Zhou Yulang agreed, but his heart was full of disdain. A piece of trash like you wanted to be friends with young Master Xiang. Dream on. He was the crown prince of one of the top societies in Hong Kong. Would he care about a small fry like you? "Veterans, what do you like to eat?" Jiang Tian and the others entered a private room. Yuan Kersen called the waiter and asked the veterans to order. How did you grow this broccoli? It costs 120 yuan per plate. I don't want to eat anymore. This restaurant is too expensive. I have instant noodles here. Ask for some boiled water and bubbles to make do with it. The vegetables in Hong Kong are so expensive. Can we rent the land here? How about we rent the land and grow vegetables here? The veterans opened the menu and looked at the prices. Their faces changed and they threw the menu on the table. They had all come from tough times. They knew that a happy life was not easy to come by and it was easy to be satisfied. They had been trained in the army and developed the habit of being thrifty. They felt that it was too extravagant and wasteful. "Why are you so poor?" "This is just my daily expenses. My meal costs more than 1,000 yuan. Sun Jiaro said disdainfully. Yuan Kersen's face stiffened and said, "Grandpas, don't be afraid of wasting money. The rich man is here. Jiang Changging's grandson, Mr. Jiang Tian. He is very rich. Grandpa veterans, you just have to eat. You came here just to taste the local specialties." Jiang Tian also persuaded them, "You have shed blood for the liberation of our nation and the independence of our country. Now that you are living a good life, it's time to enjoy it. In the whole of Huaxia, you are the most qualified to enjoy it." The veterans hesitated for a while and did not insist. Yuan Kersen quickly ordered the dishes and a few bottles of wine and drinks. Everyone ate happily. Wu Zhirua and Sun Jiaro did not touch their chopsticks. They just sipped their tea. They despised this bunch of old people. They were filthy. Jiang Tian noticed that these veterans were very thrifty. After a plate of food, they poured the soup into a bowl of rice. When the rice grains fell on the table, they carefully picked them up with chopsticks and ate. Wu Zhirua and Sun Jiaro saw this scene and couldn't help but feel even more disgusted and despised. The mainland was too poor. At this time, Jiang Tian's phone rang. He looked at the message and smiled. "Veterans, I'll call a big star over today to sing a song for all of you." "Famous singer? Who is it?" one of the veterans asked excitedly. "Li Huiyan," Jiang Tian said with a smile. At this time, Wu Zhirua, who had been holding back the whole time, could not stand it anymore. She said coldly, "Jiang Tian, can you stop bragging?" "Why are you bragging?" Jiang Tian asked calmly. "You have been bragging," Wu Zhirua said angrily. "You are too vain. It is not scary to have no money and no ability, but it is scarier to brag without ability. Say, who do you think you are going to invite today? They are just a bunch of paupers who would pick up the food that fell on the table to eat. How much is Li Huiyan worth? At least a few 100 million. She is richer than the Wu family. She is one of the top celebrities in Huaxia. Inviting her to sing once would cost at least a few 100,000 or a few million. Can you afford it? That means you have the money, but do you have the connections? Li Huiyan is famous in the circle for being virtuous and clean. She doesn't even care about rich and powerful people, let alone you. Even if you have the money and the ability to invite her, is it just for a few veterans? Why do you have to spend the money? Even if you have the money, you shouldn't waste it like that. Are you brainless? You're really showing off all the time, blowing your own trumpet and taking great pains to express yourself. You've even forgotten basic logic and human nature. Ha, I called Li Huiyan over. She can't be happier. Jiang Tian smiled faintly and said, "Also, you think it is not worth it to spend money for the veterans, but I think it is. It is much more meaningful than buying a few luxury items to decorate the shop." "Ha, is that so? Jiang Tian, you like to brag so much. Did you graduate from a fancy bragging major?" Sun Jiaro also seemed to have seen through Jiang Tian. Her face was full of disdain as she said coldly, "Later, you will definitely make a phone call and pretend that Li Huiyan wanted to come, but she had something to do at the last minute or was stuck in a traffic jam, right? What's the point of pretending like that? Jiang Tian, you want to use this method to show off your wealth, your ability, and your connections to me. And then make me regret it. Am I right?" At this time, Wu Zhirua said mockingly, "You are wrong. Even if you know Superman Li and Li Zhikai, in my eyes, you are still not a real rich person. You are just a lowly person. You can't pretend to be rich. You are still not worthy of me. Don't be wishful thinking." She pointed at her head and said disdainfully, "Jiang Tian, I heard that you had a problem with your head when you were in Donghai. Do you want to have it checked?" Her words were too harsh. However, Wu Zhirua was really angry with Jiang Tian. At this time, she wanted to shed all pretense of cordiality and ask Jiang Tian to get lost and stop disgusting her. Chapter 706. But Jiang Tian was very calm. He said lightly, "Wu Zhirua, what are you dreaming about? I, Jiang Tian, can get any woman I want with just a flick of my finger. She still can't forget you and is still brooding over it. If you don't like this occasion and don't like my way of doing things, then just leave. Also, what do you mean I'm not from a rich family? I'm going to pretend to be from a rich family. Which rich family in the world can compare with me, Jiang Tian? You're bragging." Wu Zhirua's face turned red because of Jiang Tian's provocation. She stood up with trembling body and was about to leave. Suddenly, the door was pushed open from the outside. A tall, slender, graceful, and radiant young woman walked in. "Young Master Jiang, it's really not easy to meet you." Li Huiyan took off her sunglasses and said with a smile. "Li Huiyan is really here." Wu Zhirua was shocked and couldn't believe it. Even if Jiang Tian and Li Zhikai were friends, he was just a feng shui master. He was still far from being a real rich family. How could he know Li Huiyan? How could he let her come here obediently? At this time, Li Huiyan was wearing a blue dress. She was radiant and charming. Her figure and temperament were far better than Wu Zhirua and Sun Jiejia. Compared to the charming Li Huiyan, Wu Zhirua and Sun Jiaro suddenly felt like ugly ducklings under the feet of a white swan. They felt ashamed and ashamed. "Oh my God, I'm not dreaming, right?" Sun Jiaro's beautiful eyes were wide open and her face was full of shock. She was a loyal fan of Li Huiyan. She bought all of Li Huiyan's albums and watched all of Li Huiyan's movies. But the distance between them was too far. In her eyes, Li Huiyan was like a goddess. She didn't expect Li Huiyan to appear in front of her. "Ha, I asked you to sing a song for these old grandpas." "Thank you," Jiang Tian said lightly. "Jiang Tian, what are you talking about?" Li Huiyan sat down in the empty seat next to Jiang Tian and hugged Jiang Tian's arm. "It's my honor to sing for you and the veterans. I couldn't ask for more." "It's my honor. I couldn't ask for more." Seeing this scene, Wu Zhirua was dumbfounded. In recent years, Li Huiyan had been rising at the speed of a rocket. She was very popular and very cold. It was said that even Li Zhikai and Xiao Yinhao from Hong Kong could not get close to her even if they wanted to. But at this moment, she was actually so passionate towards Jiang Tian. At this moment, Wu Zhirua's face suddenly turned red. She felt that her face was burning and swollen from the slap. He had just despised Jiang Tian for bragging, but now, in just a few minutes, he was slapped in the face. Moreover, it was so clear and loud. "Grandpa, did you just say that you're a member of the Battle Dragon team?" Jiang Tianwen's old soldier leading the team asked. "Yes." The veteran leading the team smiled proudly and said, "I'm a veteran of the Battle Dragon team who joined the army in 1948. I broke an arm on the battlefield of resisting U.S. aggression and aiding Korea, so I retired. No wonder I can still feel the powerful aura of this veteran at such an old age." Jiang Tian was in awe. He stood up, closed his legs and saluted, "Salute the veteran." "Mr. Jiang, thank you." Under the leadership of this veteran, all the veterans stood up and returned the salute to Jiang Tian with a solemn expression. The veteran leading the team tried his best to straighten his back that was bent and deformed due to his injury. His eyes were slightly red and his face was solemn. "The country's policy of caring for veterans let us know that the party and the country have never forgotten us. The righteous act of the Jiang family and the help from all sides of society let us feel that the 1.3 billion people of Huaxia have not forgotten us. In this life, I have never regretted protecting Huaxia and fighting bravely against the enemy. If there is another war, we will still go to the battlefield. Carry a brick and have fun on the 38th parallel." For some reason, Li Huiyan was a little moved. She smiled and said, "Veterans, sit down. I'll sing a song for you. Singing Motherland. This song is good. It's from Shangganling. Guo Lanying sang it before. At that time, Qiao Yu and Lu Qi were the current Zhou Jiechuan and Shuang Jieluan. They were so popular, you're old and confused. That's Zhou Jiechuan and Shuang Jiechuan. My grandson likes it. Singing is like talking." The veterans applauded one after another and were full of praises. After all, Li Huiyan was a professional singer who graduated from a famous music academy. Although she mainly sang pop songs, she could also sing folk songs. A big river with wide waves, the wind blows on both sides of the river. My family lives on the shore. I'm used to the songs of the boatmen and the white sails on the ships. This is the beautiful motherland, the place where I grew up. In this vast place, there are bright and beautiful spring scenes everywhere. Li Huiyan's clear and penetrating voice echoed in the small private room. As they listened, the veterans seemed to recall the days when they fought on the battlefield and died on the battlefield. They seemed to have returned to the days when the flames of war were endless. They thought of their burning youth. They thought of their dead comrades. Their eyes gradually turned red and tears flowed out. This is the hero's motherland, the place where I grew up. In this vast land, there are bright and beautiful spring scenes everywhere. The veterans sang with Li Huiyan. Their voices became louder and louder. They were sorrowful and high-spirited, shouting themselves hoarse. The song ended. The veterans applauded and said with tears in their eyes, "Thank you, little Li. You sang very well. We salute you." No, it should be us saluting the veterans. Heroes. Li Huiyan raised her wine glass and drank the red wine in it. Then, she bowed deeply and said, "It's my honor to be able to sing for you. Without you, there would be no strong motherland. There would be no happy life for us in the future. Thank you. Let's drink." The veterans all drank their wine. Then, the leading veteran raised his glass with tears in his eyes and said, "Let's salute the 203 brothers who died in the Battle of Highland 681. The veterans all burst into tears and raised their glasses. "To our brothers. We miss you." They were almost shouting, "Chang Zi, Xiao Bing. You all left early and did not see how prosperous our country is now. Hong Kong and Macau have returned to China. The next step is to go to Taiwan. Don't worry. Our brothers from our tour group are going to accompany you all soon. We will have a good chat with you all when we arrive. We have seen the whole country during this trip. It's great. If you all can see it, you will be very happy." At this time, a veteran's phone rang. The private room was very noisy. He took his phone and went out to answer the call. Yuan Kursin quickly went out to accompany him. Unexpectedly, something went wrong on this trip. Don't worry. The tour group is doing very well. Little Yuan and the rest are taking good care of us. We are eating well and having a good time. If you don't believe me, there is even a celebrity, Li Huiyan, singing for us. The veteran stood at the corner of the corridor to answer the call, and Yuan Kursin was supporting him. At this time, suddenly, a blonde waiter rushed over from the opposite side. He was holding a tray with a bottle of red wine on it. "Slow down. Don't knock into the old man," Yuan Kursin reminded. But the blonde waiter still knocked into the old man. The old man's body was weak, and he fell to the ground. The blonde waiter did not fall. He shook a few times exaggeratedly and threw the tray away. The bottle of red wine fell to the ground and shattered. Yuan Kursin quickly helped the veteran up and asked with concern, "Grandpa, are you all right?" Although the blonde waiter knocked into him, the veteran still asked with concern, "Comrade, are you all right?" He did not have a job, and he was not injured. But these young people from Hong Kong were busy with their jobs. It was not easy for them to make a living. He had heard that the houses here cost tens of thousands of RMB per square meter. If he was injured, it would affect his work. The veteran meant well, but the blonde waiter pointed at the veteran anxiously and shouted, "Damn you! You are a bad old man. How dare you knock into me on purpose?" The veteran quickly bowed and apologized. "I didn't do it on purpose. But I'm sorry, I knocked into you. I apologize. I'm sorry." Although the veteran was not very educated, he was very cultured. He had survived the war, and he knew that it was not easy for him to live a good life. So even though he was the one who was knocked into, he still apologized to the blonde waiter. However, he did not know that this accidental collision was originally targeted at him. It was premeditated. Old man from the mainland, why did you come to Hong Kong instead of waiting for your death in the mainland? The blonde waiter seemed to have a prejudice against people from the mainland. He stomped on the phone that the veteran had dropped on the ground and didn't have time to pick it up, crushing it into pieces. My phone. The veteran tried to pick it up, but there was only a pile of parts left. Yuan Kursen was a little annoyed when she saw this. She frowned and said, "What's wrong with you? Just deal with it properly. Why are you scolding people? You fucking old man, why did you call me when you were walking? Do you want to die?" The blonde waiter roared angrily and was very arrogant. He had done this many times before, and he knew the essence of it. Those people from the mainland were stupid and easy to bully. The more arrogant you were, the more scared they would be. Once they were scared, they would obediently pay up. You were the one who knocked into me. Can't you be more reasonable? Yuan Kursen hurriedly supported him and gave him a tit for tat. Where is your manager? Call your manager here. I don't want to talk to you. A mainland loser like you wants to talk to our manager. You think too highly of yourself. The blonde waiter pointed at the veteran's nose again and roared. Old man, pay up. Or I'll beat you to death. The veteran was so scared that his whole body trembled. He even couldn't control himself and peed. His urine flowed down his pants and onto the floor. He was old, and his body was weak. He had high blood pressure, hemiplegia, and many other common diseases. When he was agitated, his whole body would tremble and he would pee uncontrollably. Ha! This old man, he peed his pants. Old man, you are about to die. Don't come out. We don't welcome people from the mainland. What a joke. If you pee on our carpet, you will have to pay up. This is an imported branded carpet. A few more waiters and diners gathered around, pointing at the veteran and laughing mockingly. Chapter 707. Old man, you are so poor. Why do you come to such a high-end place to eat? Isn't the roadside stalls on Temple Street very good? A woman with heavy makeup, called Lu Yiting, who had just settled down in Hong Kong from the mainland, mocked him proudly. Grandpa, I'll take you to the bathroom. Yuan Kursen knew that he was going to have a relapse, so she didn't dare to fight with those people lest she scared the old man. Xiao Yuan, I've caused you trouble and embarrassed you. The old man's face was full of guilt and shame. His whole body was trembling, and there were tears in his eyes. Yuan Kursen were about to leave, but several waiters stopped them and said arrogantly, "Why do you want to run? You haven't paid yet. Didn't you see that our bottle of red wine fell on the ground and broke? Do you still want to deny it? Poor mainlander, pay up. Don't try to deny it, or we will call the police." It was obviously him who bumped into the old man. The old man didn't move at all. Yuan Kursen was so angry that she gritted her teeth and her beautiful eyes were full of fire. But on second thought, she couldn't let the old man get angry, or else he would have a stroke. She tried to suppress her anger, took out her wallet and asked, "Okay, I'll accompany you. Tell me, how much is it?" Old mainlanders are really easy to bully. Today I've made another order. The yellow-haired waiter was complacent. He stretched out 5 fingers and waved them in the air. 500 Hong Kong dollars. Okay, here you are. Yuan Kursen took out the money and handed it over. Xiao Yuan, let me do it. I have a bicycle repair shop. I have money. The old man quickly stopped Yuan Kursen. His rough and skinny hand, which was still covered with black grease under his fingernails, took out a worn-out paper wallet from his pocket and took out small notes of 10s and 8s. The old man was very grateful to the Jiang family and Yuan Kursen. It was the Jiang family who paid for them to come out and see the wonderful world. Now he was useless and got into trouble. How could he let them pay for him? Are you two idiots? This is Cabernet Sauvignon from Luyue wine cellar in the United States. It's 50,000 Hong Kong dollars a bottle. The yellow-haired waiter pushed the old man's hand away and the notes fell on the ground. Then he shouted angrily. 50,000 Hong Kong dollars. The old man was stunned and his voice trembled. It's just a bottle of wine, how can it be so expensive? I only have 20,000 yuan in my savings. This is a famous wine. The blonde waiter said with disdain, you poor mainlanders, what do you know? Hurry up and pay up. That's right. Isn't it just 50,000 yuan? You think it's expensive? If you can't afford it, then don't come here. Lu Yiting and a few other Hong Kong people echoed. Yuan Ku thought in her heart that there was probably a trap. However, the wine had already been broken, so what else could she do? Besides, Jiang Changing had said before that no matter how much money they had to spend, they had to let the veterans have fun and not give them any trouble. Yuan Kurson quickly comforted the old soldier, Grandpa, don't worry, the Jiang family will pay for this. At this moment, Jiang Tian came out of the private room and asked with a faint smile, Little Yuan, what's going on? Yuan Kurson said concisely. Brother Tian, we've been watching too. At this time, Jiang Chao, Zhen Shuai, and Cheng Yi also came over. They had just come over with Li Huiyan. However, there were too many people in the private room, so they didn't go in. They waited outside and saw everything clearly from the beginning to the end. Jiang Tian understood immediately. A trace of sharpness flashed in his eyes as he said lightly, transfer the money to them. Yuan Kurson immediately took out her Visa card and brought the old man to the bathroom to change his clothes and diapers before sending him into the private room. Since the old man was in the private room, he wouldn't be affected. Jiang Tian could finally vent his anger. These blonde bastards, after being colonized for a few days, they already thought of themselves as foreigners. They could bully anyone, but they had to bully this bunch of veterans who had sacrificed their lives for Huaxia. Heartless. Jiang Tian had never been so angry before. Fine, isn't it just causing trouble? Let's have a good time today. If he didn't tear down this restaurant today and trample all these disgusting separatists into pieces, then he would have returned for nothing for the past 4 years. You, call your manager over. Jiang Tian pointed at the blonde waiter and said. Okay, don't regret it. The blonde waiter was fearless. He smiled coldly and took out his walkie-talkie to call for someone. A moment later, Zhou Yulang, who was dressed in a suit, quickly walked over and bowed respectfully, saying, Thank you for your help. Mr. Jiang, I didn't know you were coming. Please forgive me for not going out to meet you. They really made a mistake. It's not 50,000 Hong Kong dollars. Speaking of this. Suddenly he stood up and smiled coldly, it's not 50,000 Hong Kong dollars, but 500,000 Hong Kong dollars. He was arrogant and said with his eyes on top of his head, this is 1973 Liyue wine cellar Cabernet Sauvignon, the market value is 600,000 Hong Kong dollars. The waiter didn't recognize the year and reported the wrong price. I'll give you a discount, 500,000. You don't have to thank me. Are you satisfied with this? Zhou Yulang was still smiling, but there was a trace of bloodthirsty taste in the depths of his eyes, as if Jiang Tian was a little white rabbit waiting to be slaughtered. I said, call my manager over, you'll regret it. The blonde waiter said arrogantly, now, do you want our boss to come over? Ha ha ha. A country bumpkin from the mainland, who do you think you are? Why do you have to make trouble? Call your manager over. Lu Yiting showed a mocking expression, crossed her arms and snorted, it's fine if you paid 50,000 earlier, but now it's 500,000. Do you regret it? Is this a scammer? How is this possible? What era are we living in? Jiang Tian couldn't come back to his senses. Scammers were common, but scammers in restaurants were rare. After all, your restaurant is right there. The monk ran to the temple. It was too easy for the victim to report to the police, the Consumers Association, or the Business Administration Department. How could they be so arrogant? Wasn't Hong Kong a society ruled by law? It didn't make sense. Jiang Tian, this restaurant was originally targeted at mainland tourists. They worked together with the local tour guide to trick mainland tourists into eating expensive food. Li Huiyan leaned in front of Jiang Tian and whispered they would label the menu as US dollars, but the customers would order as RMB or Hong Kong dollars. When they finished eating, they would find that the bill was several times higher. No one is doing anything about it. Jiang Tian frowned. I heard that they have a mafia background. They once killed a northeastern tourist and closed their business for a few days. Then they reopened. Li Huiyan had some projects in Hong Kong, so she came here more often and knew more about it, but their reputation was tarnished, and their original scheme was exposed. They were worried that something bad might happen, so they changed to scammers. Of course, they target mainland tourists. The mainland tourists are only here for a few days, and they have to leave when their passes expire. It's not convenient to file a complaint or file a lawsuit. The cost is also very high, so most people can only suffer in silence. They killed mainland tourists. Jiang Tian frowned again, and a murderous look flashed across his eyes. He then looked at Zhou Yulang and said lightly, 500,000, do you think I'm stupid? That's right. 500,000, not a cent less. Otherwise, bastard, I'll kill you. Zhou Yulang said with a wicked smile. Fine, I'll give it to you. Seeing Jiang Tian's face sink, Jiang Chao raised his hand and slapped Zhou Yulang's chubby face. Who was Jiang Tian? He was the valiant existence that forced France and the European Union to bow their heads and killed an entire country in one battle. A few Hong Kong cowards dared to challenge the great god Jiang. Were they looking for trouble? Zhou Yulang staggered and fell to the ground. His chubby face was swollen, and half of his yellow teeth fell out. Blood gushed out. With this slap, Zhou Yulang was stupefied. The blonde waiters were stupefied. The few diners were also stupefied. Are these mainlanders crazy? How dare they hit someone? This restaurant was backed by a powerful backer. They didn't know what was good for them. How dare you hit someone here? Let's see if you can walk out of here alive. The blonde waiters helped Zhou Yulang up and pointed at Jiang Tian and the rest. Fine, fine, fine. How dare you hit me? Just you wait. Sister Min and young Master Xiang are here. What are you going to do? But at this time, Zhou Yulang actually recklessly pointed at Jiang Tian's nose and cursed loudly. Noisy. As soon as Jiang Tian finished speaking, Jiang Chao slapped Zhou Yulang again. The corner of Zhou Yulang's mouth cracked, and he fell to the ground, completely silent. Hurry up and inform your boss. Come here in 10 minutes, or I'll burn down your restaurant. Jiang Tian looked at the time on his phone. Sister Min. Could it be her? Jiang Tian, you're in trouble. Do you know who the owner of this restaurant is? It's Xu Min. And Sister Min is Xiang Qiangsheng's mistress. Sun Jiaro suddenly thought of something and exclaimed with a pale face. In her opinion, Jiang Tian didn't know what was good for him. He was already a dead man and would probably die on the spot. What? Xu Min's restaurant. We're in trouble. Wu Jiruo's heart skipped a beat. Even if Jiang Tian and Li Zhikai knew each other, they were nothing compared to the Xiang family in Hong Kong. Jiang Tian would be played to death. Should we give Luo Ziho a call? Sun Jiaro was so scared that her face turned pale. She knew that Luo Ziho knew these people from the mafia. It's no use. Wu Jiruo shook her head in despair. The Xiang family was a mafia. They killed people without batting an eyelid. Not to mention Luo Ziho, even Supermanly would not be able to help them. After all, Supermanly was just a legitimate businessman. Thinking of this, she looked at Jiang Tian and said anxiously, Jiang Tian, leave now. Leave Hong Kong immediately. Why should I leave? Jiang Tian said calmly. You're asking me why I should leave. This restaurant is opened by the superstar, Shu Min. Wu Zhiruo was so angry that she rolled her eyes. Are you retarded? You hit Xiang Qiangsheng's godson yesterday, and you hit his woman today. From their point of view, you're going to fight them to the death. Will they let you go? You're tuning in to the Blissful Bookshelf YouTube channel. We're so grateful for your support, and don't forget to subscribe to join us on this incredible journey through captivating stories. Your generosity through donations truly makes a world of difference, as it's the primary source of revenue that allows me to expand and enhance this channel for you. Thank you from the bottom of my heart for being a part of this adventure.